the word resilience comes to me, right? I am where I am today. I'm resilient because of stuff you go through over the journey, right? I'm not saying not throwing stones. There's no wrong or right. I got 11 and a 12-year-old, so, that scares me a lot. But also, I don't want them to go through stuff I went through.
We use that word old school.
Yep.
We are old school.
Yep.
Kids don't like to hear it. In our days, we would work 16 hours a day. And we did it, and we didn't call up in the mornings and say, I don't feel too good.
Yep.
We went to work.
Yep.
Every day.
Yep.
Teamwork for me is so important.
All right, so we've got Jerry on, the Oyster King. Is that what it is?
Well, some call me that, yeah. Mother Shucker of all mothers.
Oh, that's
Shaka
good.
Khan, you name it. I've been around, Paul. Don't worry.
So I don't actually know Jerry that well, obviously from the, being around with the oysters and stuff, but he's very well known, especially in the hospitality game, and does a fantastic job, always got a great personality. And I reckon 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I was chatting with him down at Embassy there and said, come on the podcast. He's like, no problem. Like more front than probably most others. And then we haven't seen each other since. And then I ran into him, last week?
Last week. Yep.
Yeah. And he goes, well, it better be before I travel.
Yes.
So he got, and the best thing about this, I was telling someone the other day, he got his old diary out, handwritten, which none of us have anymore.
I know.
And he goes, what time? And you know what? 2 nights ago, he texted me. He's ahead of me. I could have all the tech and EAs in the world.
I just had to
He's
make
like,
sure.
are you ready? Where is it?
Well, I had to make sure because I wasn't too sure where the venue was.
Yeah.
And you did tell me, hey, it's just around the corner.
Yep.
So,
and I just moved and all that.
yeah.
Actually, when I seen you, it would have been like nearly the first day I was here.
I think so,
Something like that. And so Jerry's on. Don't know too much about him, but just starting to learn a little bit. So tell us about what we're just talking about. So you're about to travel?
Yep, just about to go off on Sunday, fly up to Kununurra to see the boss, my beautiful Pearl, as I call her, Fiona. She's a school teacher, school educator for young children. So she's up in a place called Pernalulu, which is quite a famous, that's cool, quite a famous remote Aboriginal school.
Yep.
So it's most people know where the Bungle Bungles is. This is called Pernalulu. I've been a couple of times to visit. Because it's school holidays, Fiona will either come down to Perth or we'll go over east to see our sons.
Yep.
Or I fly up and we spend a couple of weeks together,
That's amazing.
It's a different world.
So just talking out there before, I learned heaps in about 4 minutes getting a coffee. Your sons will touch on it in a minute. They're pretty cool lads as well.
Yeah, they are.
With your partner, obviously long distance, a bit of travel, and you said it's a bit of a different relationship, just the way it's structured now. But you've been together 35 years.
Yeah, we've been married 35, known each other for 38. So. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, she's an amazing woman. Yeah,
I appreciate that so much. I divorced 2 years ago, and my ex is a beautiful woman.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. But I love hearing that. When someone's together that time, and then like you said, these days it's like it is what it is. She's doing what she loves, which is the first thing you said, which is awesome.
Well, this is a dream job for her. She loves it up there, and she's very good at what she does.
Yep,
and she's taught at many schools here in Perth. She's a Perth girl. And we met in London 38 years ago, like I said earlier, and we got married in London.
Yep.
And it was actually Fiona who I call her my rock, my pearl. She's my background is that I was born in Scotland, but I was raised in Peru, in the Andes of Peru.
Yep.
So my old man was in copper mining.
Wow.
And then I went to boarding school in England.
Yep.
And then I went to university in Florida. And then I did my degree. I'm a geologist by trade. But I ran an oyster bar while I was at uni.
Did you?
Yes, I did. That's how I got into sort of oysters.
How old were you then?
Well, I would have been about 20. So, yeah.
Yep. And sorry, where was that again?
That was in a place called Tampa, Florida.
Oh, in Florida?
Florida, yeah.
So that's where the oyster story started?
That's where the story started.
And planted the seed?
Yeah. I used to love going to oyster bars.
Yep.
Yeah, I loved the vibe. I didn't know much about oysters, and I thought the oysters in Florida were pretty good, but later on I found out they're actually not that great. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but no. Gulf of Mexico oysters aren't the best.
Yep.
And so it was a little like a hobby job. It paid. I got paid illegally, which was great. I was allowed to drink what I wanted, eat what I wanted, and listen to Southern rock and roll, which was great. Jimmy Buffett.
What
Jimmy
a formula.
Buffett in those days. It was a great formula. So my last 2 years of uni were pretty full on.
Yep.
But I was a wild guy. I mean, my wife can tell you that. I was a pretty crazy dude.
Yep. Probably too many stories for today. Definitely,
far too many. But it was my trip to a cousin's wedding in London in 1983.
Year I was born.
Yeah, so that's where I met Fiona later on. I just come back from Spain. I helped a mate run a restaurant in Spain in '88.
Yep,
and came back to London again and worked at a very famous seafood restaurant called Bentley's, which probably still is #1 seafood restaurant in UK.
Wow,
Very cool place, 5-star, unbelievable, and. I met Fiona there. That's how we met, and we hit it off. I think the Aussie sort of sense of humor and the Scottish sense of humor are very similar.
Yeah,
we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And
good banter.
Great banter, and Fee loves oysters and champers. And I was in my party days those time.
Well, that had to be by default, didn't it?
Well, it sort of came together, and we hit it off, and then we sort of I guess dated. I don't know if that's the right word, but we lived together for a while.
Yep.
And I sort of realized this was the woman for me. She's a little bit younger. She's 12 years younger than me, actually.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. I proposed in a restaurant. I actually got on my knees and
was the ring in an oyster?
I'll tell you what. It's a funny thing. Fee's favorite champagne is Veuve Clicquot.
Yep.
So we were at a well-known restaurant, and I had gone to see the waiter who was going to serve us that night earlier, and I said, get me a champagne bottle from a Veuve Clicquot. I want you to cut a little groove in it, and I want to put the ring in there. And then when you come to the table with the bottle, pop it, and then switch the corks. Yeah, just switch the corks and say to Fiona, I think this belongs to you. And that's what we did.
Wow.
So yeah, the waiter switched the corks, put the cork in Fee's hand. We had another friend of ours sitting at the table. They weren't too sure what was going on. And then I just dropped to my knees. Yeah.
Oh,
how crazy is that? Yeah?
That is unreal.
That's crazy. So Fee couldn't say no. So it was great. So we got married in London. We had bagpipes and kilts. I wore my kilt. And my family were living in Peru at the time, so they came over. Fiona's family from Perth, they all came over. I had sort of family from Scotland.
Yep.
Uncles and aunts. They came down, and mates of mine from uni came over. So it was a big party.
Yep.
Great wedding. Yeah,
Just something that resonates with me. So in 2010, I proposed to my ex-wife now, but and it was at the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
like how original! But it was in Le Jules Verne, the restaurant, and I actually got a ring made, and I carried it all the way over in my shoe, blah blah blah, the travel because we went to Croatia and all that as well, and then at the point I was going to do the same thing.
Yes.
I ended up doing laps, and I was gone for ages, and I had these big sweat marks, dinner plates, and I come out after being in the bathroom, like in the movies, and you think you're going to drop it. And so I had the ring. I come out, and got on one knee, and the whole restaurant stopped, and I had these big sweat patches. There's photos of it. And it was amazing. It was pretty cool.
Amazing.
But
I love it.
Trying to do a bit different. And then we had 8-course meals. We went home, went to sleep.
Yeah.
And the next morning she woke up. She goes, "Oh, I had a dream. The ring was fake." And it actually was, because I got it made and I wanted to get a proper one made when she got back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, they know everything, don't they?
Oh,
the intuition of a woman.
No, where they suss it out real quick. But that's 38 years ago. My God.
Wow.
So we got married, and then we've got 2 sons.
Yep.
We talked to you about Cam and Cal.
30 and 32.
32 is Cameron and 30 is Cal, and both living on the East Coast now. Both grew up here in Perth. Went to Ellenbrook Primary and then went to Guildford Grammar.
Yep.
And then they moved on and did their own things.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying who's 32?
32 is Cameron. He's the eldest. He's a sexologist.
Sexologist, that's what you're saying.
He did his master's actually down here in Curtin University.
Yep.
And then he went over. Well, he was here for a while, and he was doing a lot of work with disabled young men, taking them out to pubs and bars and meeting ladies and using the right terminology and content and all that. And now he gets flown into a lot of universities and a lot of sporting clubs.
Yep.
A lot of codes to talk about.
Jerry was saying before, basically, and this is a pretty big topic these days, is about the whole consent, like you're saying 13, 14-year-old, 14, 15-year-olds. onwards, and just understanding it. I think the education piece around it, I'm guessing, because when he said that what he does is occupation, honestly, it might sound cool, but I didn't actually know what it was. Like you don't these days, but he's pretty popular over East, very knowledgeable. He's a key guy to go to.
He is.
It's flown in. That's pretty amazing.
He's got his own podcast as well.
Hey, he has.
He has. It's called The Cam Fraser. So TheCamFraser. So the Cam Fraser, you can check him out, and he does a lot of talking. And
So Nat, when we do the post and do all this, we'll have to link up with him, and
he'd like that.
It'd be wicked. Yeah, and that's awesome.
My young one, Cal, he's my gentle giant. He's 6'6", rugby player.
Wow,
big boy.
Yeah,
but so gentle. He's a beautiful guy. He's a coffee roaster over on the East Coast. So he's coffee roasted over here, and then he went to Melbourne for 5 years and coffee roasted there.
Yep,
and met his future partner.
Yep,
Alex. So that's all happening.
Awesome.
And he's moved now to a place called Lismore, which is quite well known because of the floods and all that. But he lives outside in Rock Valley, and he's joined a new coffee roasting house called Quilla.
Yep.
So they've got 2 or 3 cafes which he's getting involved with.
Oh, nice.
So it's passion. He loves coffee roasting. He loves whiskey bars.
Yep.
And he loves vinyl music.
Cool.
Those are his passions.
That's his formula. Yep.
That's his formula.
Yeah.
He just loves music, and for a 30-year-old, he's into music from every genre.
Yep.
He's very knowledgeable about it, and he sends me little podcasts and stuff and little music.
How cool!
Yeah. So those are the boys. We love them. I've got a grandson. His name is Fergus.
Yep.
So he's 5 now. That's Cam and Eddie's young boy. Eddie is my daughter-in-law. She's a singer-songwriter.
Yep.
So she used to sing at the 5 Bar when I was working there.
Yeah.
So I worked at 5 Bar for about 5 years, actually. And Eddie was the singer there on a Sunday.
Yep.
And then when my son came over from America when he finished,
nice.
I tell them I played Cupid, but they say, no, you didn't. I said, well, you came. Kind of. Well, I was there, And Cam came to visit me, and Eddie was working with me. So, yes, I take claim to that.
Piece it together.
But it's great, The oyster world, I know.
The oyster world. So last night I was with someone over in Applecross, and we were around the corner. But you were at Canteen last night, were you?
I was.
Yeah. I nearly called it actually.
Crazy night.
But I had to go into the city for an art exhibition.
Yeah, that's one of my residencies. Is the Wednesday night canteen. And my other residency on a Friday night is Embassy, where you and I meet up once in a while.
Yep.
I'm doing 10 venues at the moment. So everyone says,
just while we're on that, and I'll butt in here and there.
Yeah, please do.
So talk to me. How long you known Simon for?
Well,
obviously he owns Embassy and Devils.
Well, I've known Simon for probably about 30 years, nearly as long as I've been here. Because we all started at a WA club.
Yep. Is that right?
Well, that's where he had his smoking land, Churchill's.
I don't know much about that back then.
It was an unbelievable venue. I mean, you need to talk to Simon about it. He'll tell you.
Yep.
That's where we met.
I'll be trying, don't worry.
To do that. He'd love that. And we had we did an oyster night every Thursday night. It was full on.
Yep.
It was downstairs. They had a pool table there. And, cigar smoking as usual.
Yep.
Drinking your red wines.
Simon
and whiskeys. And, we had oysters, and it became very well known. That was sort of after I'd done sort of 5 years with a guy called Warren Mead.
Yeah.
So when I arrived here from London 30 years ago, I got involved with Warren with his restaurant here in Subi called the Fish House.
Yep.
Which was the old Vic Hotel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I might have heard someone talk about that. Yeah.
Well, it was a very, very well.
So I've only been here since 2004. So
this was 1997. We opened it.
Yep.
And became, I think, the number 1 seafood restaurant in Australia at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely
on the map.
On the map. Yeah. It was a great venue, and we had the best seafood in town.
So just on that also. So you come from London, you come here back then. Like you're at the restaurant. Was that doing oysters?
Yeah, so in London I was doing
everything. That were kind of kicked off here?
Yeah, so I did everything in London. We ran Bentley's Oyster Bar. I worked at 3 or 4.
That was the major one,
Savoy Hotel as well in London. And we did everything. We did from oysters to smoked salmon to poached salmons to crabs to, all the seafood.
Yep.
And
how good.
So great stuff. I mean, it was very, very well known. And when I came over here to Perth, I just sort of fine-tuned it just to oysters, because when I arrived here, there were no oyster bars in Perth.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone bought their oysters from a factory, You'd go to Kalis's or you'd go to Sea Lanes and you'd buy oysters from them.
Yep.
And when I arrived here, I just couldn't believe it. I said, no one's shucking fresh oysters. And no one really knew what shucking was all about. So, and shucking basically is a live performance where you get live product and you open it in front of your guests, and serve the freshest item on the menu, I think.
Every time.
Yeah, every time. And so this is what happened. I came over, didn't understand why there were no fresh oysters or oyster bars. And then I got involved with this guy called Warren Mead, who had Meads in the Bay down in Mozzie and was building this new seafood restaurant in Subi called the Fish House. And that's when I came on board. And I designed the oyster bar, and it became a huge hit. And then people started to say, who is this guy shucking fresh oysters? Let's go see him. So Friday afternoons was huge in Subi. I mean, that's when everyone
especially back then, you've just hit something that's not, known.
It was a niche market.
Yeah, definitely.
And
love it.
I got interviewed by, and articles written by well-known people like Verity James and Rob Broadfield, and all these people wrote articles about this Shaka Khan. Who is this guy? And that's the beginning of the this sort of
the
this
story.
oyster craze that's been happening. It's getting bigger and bigger now. It's
Do you ever bring that stuff back up, even on your socials or whatever like that?
Yeah,
the letters.
I've had quite a few interviews with obviously newspapers. And podcasts. There's a few podcasts out there about my background. Because I'll tell you all about it now. I haven't touched alcohol or drugs or anything like that for 35 years now. I was a pretty wild alcoholic.
I think you told me that when I met you.
I think I have spoken.
I'm a good boy.
Yeah. Well, Fiona is my rock. And it was Fiona who said, this is it, mate. We were married 1 year, and Fee said, look, I can't carry on life like this. You're not gonna. I don't want you to be the father of my kids. We didn't have children then, but the first year of marriage, and I just said, okay. You hear about the light bulb moment, and that was it. It was actually Boxing Day, and I remember it well. I remember leaving the house and going out. I'd had Christmas Day. I drank 3 bottles of Jack Daniels Christmas Day, and I had a party at my house. This is in London. And I was apparently very rude to a lot of my friends and my sister-in-law, and so I don't remember much about that evening. But apparently it's London, 25th of December. It's very cold. And they found me outside in the garden with just a pair of, shorts and a T-shirt. And I'd nearly died of hypothermia. So they got me back in the house, in an apartment. I lived in a 2-bedroom then. And they got me back in, and I slept the night, I guess, in one of the rooms. And then the next day, Boxing Day, was was D-Day. That's it.
And that was a light bulb moment. And
Fiona and Jenny had packed their suitcases. And said, we're going back to Australia. We've had enough. And Fee said, I've had enough.
So just a little bit there. So obviously I do this podcast, Roadblocks, Risk and Resilience, right? And most of it's always business, but what comes with business and life and evolving and growing is that personal stuff. And we all, we all have them, right? Like I've had them as well, but it's so cool to understand that. And that's a big pivotal point, and probably why you are where you are today, right? And
absolutely,
you've hit this roadblock, and you could have made a different decision.
I could have.
You could have went and got back on the piss. You could have gone, fuck you, it wasn't my fault.
Absolutely.
Not hold a mirror up, which I actually talk about heaps now. I've had to do that for the last 2 years, hold a mirror up. And when you do that and you take 100% accountability, it just changes everything so much.
Everything,
it really does.
Paul, I had 20 years of party, and I was a party animal. Partied big time. And I knew how to do it. And it was just, it was that moment,
So it's not even just losing Fiona to be like your body, you might not be here, all that stuff, right?
I don't think I would have made the age of 40. That's the truth.
A lot of people say that, but I can tell when you say it.
No,
you knew.
I was at a point when I didn't know where to go, and Fiona made that decision for me.
So how old were you then?
Well, I would have been, God, I'm just trying to think how we got married when we were 36. So I would have been about 37.
37, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I'll say this out loud. I joke about it a bit, but us guys take a lot more to mature. It is actually compared. Like, I don't think there's a guy that disagrees with me. I think until we hit 40, I think we haven't really got our heads
good. We're still young boys.
We're hopeless, right?
And it's true. It's, it you have that moment when you think, what am I going to do? What do I do?
Yeah.
And I did, and it was Boxing Day in London, and it was cold. There was nothing open except the pubs on that day, and I'd gone for a walk, and I took a walk down to the pub, and I didn't go in. I just stood outside the pub, and one of the guys who was at the party at my house the night before saw me there, and everyone kept saying, "Hey, Jerry, come on in, come and have a drink," because they do that for for Boxing Day lunches.
Of course,
have a quick drink, and then you go home.
Yep.
And I just stood there for probably a half an hour, not knowing what to do. And Eddie, my mate Eddie, he's from Tunisia.
Yeah,
still remember him well. And he said, "What are you doing out here?" I said, "I'm not too sure." He said, "You're not going to go in, are you?" He said, "You didn't behave too well last night, did you?" I said, "I really don't remember." He said, "No, you didn't."
That's a good mate too.
Yeah.
Being honest.
Said, "I'm going to cook you lunch. Come back to my place."
Oh,
so he lived just around the corner, and he'd actually lost his wife and son through alcoholism as well. So,
wow.
They left him, and he was at a point in life, I guess, when he didn't know which way he was going to turn on.
Yeah.
But he took me back, and he cooked me a little Tunisian lunch. We sat and we looked at photo albums of his family. We were there 5 hours just chatting.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. It's kind of weird. And then I said, "Okay, I'm going to go. I think I've made my mind up now." No, I made my mind up. I remembered saying,
Yep.
I said, "Listen, it sounds cliche, that light bulb moment, but it did. It's something switched on." And I said, "I don't want to lose this woman. She's been standing by me for, a year of marriage and 3 years before that as friends." I walked back to the apartment, and Fiona and Jenny were sitting there still waiting for me. Suitcases still there, ready to go. And she said, and I said, "Yeah, tomorrow I go see my GP." And that's how it all started. And so I went and saw my GP, and he said, "Do you want to go and do group therapy?" I said, "No, I want one-on-one. I need a one-on-one counseling."
Not around.
Yeah, I just want to talk to someone.
Huge shift.
Yeah, huge shift. And the counselor was, a reformed alcoholic himself. And that's how it all started. So I started my journey.
That is so awesome.
Different journey.
Thanks very much for sharing that.
It's cool.
And we could, us younger ones could all take a lot out of that. Like I've, been in similar situations, and it's that light bulb moment. Mine probably took. There's always variables, right? Yeah. But you knew that woman was for you, and that kicked your and made that shift. But it's obviously you come back to Australia after that and look at your story, and you love life, and you're proud to go, "Hey, I haven't touched any of that for that long." But you're in bars every week.
Well, this is what everyone doesn't understand, because I work in hospo, and
so you don't drink at all?
No, 35 years I haven't.
So good, and you're living and breathing bars
every day. Yeah, I know.
But you get more enjoyment now, and I can tell when you're in there. You're old school. You're in there early. You're prepped.
Yeah,
you're warming up the room. You're talking to people. You got the personality. Like you got all that stuff, and I think that gives you more better feeling than any drugs, alcohol, any.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Now I understand what hospitality is about now.
Yep.
In the old days when I was at Bentley's in those days, it was about partying hard.
Yep.
Working hard, but partying.
Yeah.
Hard. And we all work hard.
That's actually what causes it a bit. Like I could put my hand up there, you go hard, but then you need to let your hair down.
Oh, yeah.
And you end up like this. Yeah. So just quickly on it, like the loose days I've been in a bit myself. I was ex-Navy, and like what I worked out after getting out in 07 is we'd run amok, and I got out early because of it, because we just run amok too much, right, in the defence.
Yep.
And what I worked out is a lot of people who go to the defence naturally is because they want to get away from home. They're that, different cat, as you could say. But we all get together, and we might have not everyone, but broken families, whatever. So you end up with this bonding community. Yeah. But then you end up, like back when I was in, like a lot of people were leaving and going to mining and that, but there's so much partying going on, and like talk drugs and all that, right? I don't talk about it much, but I grew up with it. I never touched it till I come to WA in the Navy, right?
Yeah, okay.
And drank piss, and like it was just like, it was pretty bad. And I was meant to do 6 years, got out in 4.5. Yeah. But yeah, it's the loose days. You've got to hit this. You got to get your ass kicked a bit, don't you?
Well, I did. And like I said, Fiona did kick my.
Yep.
And she just said, it's not. You're not going to be the father of my kids.
Yep.
That
huge.
Resonated huge.
Yep.
Because I loved my cousins' kids and all that, and they were great, and I was always around, and I was always a good uncle.
Yep.
But even my cousins were sort of, I guess, hesitant to babysit,
Yep.
Don't let Jerry babysit because he drinks too much.
Yep.
I thought I was a social drinker.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was an alcoholic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll tell you this now, it comes from my father.
Yep.
My father was an alcoholic.
Yep.
He, Scotsman, he drank a bottle of scotch a day. And he hit it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I never hit it.
Yep.
Fiona would find, bottles everywhere. I thought it was cool.
Yep.
And growing up in Peru.
Well, we only know what we know. We only only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was drinking rum and cokes when I was 14, growing up in Peru.
Yep.
And it was party time. And Peru, as we all know, is a big drug capital of cocaine. Yep. So it was around all the time.
Run amok.
Yeah, run amok.
Just
as you say,
go back on a positive note. Like
yes,
I picture we're talking about like what you do now and what you've done over the last 30 years, the journey, how well that gives you that feeling to outweigh anything else. And everything's feeling, even drinking in that, like me the last couple of years. You're drinking, it's all coping mechanism, but the positive ones, like you shucking an oyster, and whenever you see an oyster shucker, you know they're going to be fresh because you wouldn't have a job otherwise.
Absolutely.
And then I just picture you at embassy and you're getting around and people haven't even come in yet. Like that feeling must be amazing. Now, so when you're handing the oyster over and you've shucked it, like that bit there, every time must be.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. I really enjoy watching people eat oysters and enjoy the product.
Because you like them or you don't really, is it?
Well, there's no in-betweens.
No.
And my pet hate is cooked oysters, and most people know that. So if anyone says, oh, Jerry, I love Kilpatrick's, or do you do Kilpatrick's, I'll say, no, don't swear at me.
Yeah.
And it's a running joke, even at the embassy, the chef.
Yep.
Charlie, he'll come out and say, Jerry, do you need any bacon for the Kilpatrick's today?
Does he?
And it's a running joke, and he'll do it tomorrow.
And by the way, Charlie is an amazing chef. They've won awards lately. Yeah. And like they've been going, year and a half now, he's had an embassy open. And you could go in there now and the meal is as good as it was day one. And the quality and the standard there by Teresa and Simon and Charlie and the team are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're not here to give them the kudos, but it's a great venue.
But it is, though, yeah.
It is. No, well, believe it or not, it was me who gave Simon the CV of Charlie's CV.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh,
so not many people know that. Sorry, Charlie. I didn't want to tell everyone, but it's out now.
Maybe.
Yeah. So Charlie's an old friend of mine.
Where's he come from?
Well, Charlie's ex-Fraser's.
Oh, he is.
He was the head chef of a restaurant called New Normal, which was here in Subi.
Oh, was it?
Only for about a year, I think. It closed down. It was
not because of the food.
No, unbelievable restaurant.
Yeah?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Wow.
One of the top restaurants I've ever been to. He had a sous chef by the name of Chris Malone, who's a good friend of Charlie's and a good friend of mine. The two of them were unbelievable, and it was an unbelievable place. And then he went to work with the Sneakers and Jeans group, so Pirate Life and all that.
Yeah.
And I used to go visit Charlie. We used to see each other at Five Bar. His wife, Karen, used to work with me, with her sister, Susanna.
Yep.
Probably nearly 25 years ago at Sea Restaurant.
Oh, at Sea.
Before he even met her.
Yep.
He hadn't met her yet. And I keep telling him, I think I did the introduction.
The Cupid.
So, yeah, Charlie and I are really good mates. So we have a lot of banter. He's from New York.
How old's Charlie?
I think Charlie just turned 50.
Yep.
Yeah, I think.
At the end, I always ask the guests two questions. One of them is like, who should I get on next? Maybe there's a couple of people here.
Yeah, Charlie's a wizard in the kitchen.
Yep.
But doesn't like to come out of the kitchen too much to meet people. Yep. A lot of chefs are like that, believe me.
Yeah, yep.
That's their. Yeah, they show their wizardry in the kitchen.
Yep.
They're
magicians. Yep.
Yeah, they are magicians in there, but they don't like coming out and talking. They're a bit shy.
How good is it that you get someone like that? If we could,
yeah, I can.
If we could.
There's a couple. I mean, I work at quite a few venues, so there's one or two chefs that like to come out with me and have chats.
Yep.
And we do little bits for Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
We talk to each other with a little bit of banter.
Yep.
I mean, that word banter is coming up everywhere now.
Yep.
But I love banter.
We're Aussies, right? We've got to have fun. You got to enjoy what you do.
You're right, Paul. The thing is with hospo, we can't take ourselves too seriously, but we have to keep an eye on the youth.
It's hard sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it's very difficult. I do
the young ones,
quite a few charities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get involved with quite a few, and I'm very much in favor of mental health. You got to keep it.
So am I actually. I love that you talk about that.
Well, I've got a big one coming up, big charity gig coming up. I do it every year. It's called Healthy Mind Menu.
Yep.
And it's for hospitality. So we do a big one down at the Ritz-Carlton with about 6 chefs.
Yeah.
We come on board and we work with Wayne Teo. It's an unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. But we need to keep an eye on the kids because I work in, like I said, many venues, and a lot of these youngsters, they need someone just to look up to.
Yep.
And
bit of guidance.
A bit of guidance, yeah.
Do you think, like, I reckon I'm in the middle generation where it's shifting a lot. Like, I'm a bit old. I can be really old school.
Yeah.
Grow up, work hard, 10, 15 hours a day, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Resilience. The word resilience comes to me, right?
Yeah.
And the young ones, I'm all for, like, not probably being like we were years ago. But the challenge is I am where I am today. I'm resilient because of stuff you go through over the journey, right? And do we have that these days? That resilience bit, and you need it in life because you need a bit of confidence. Yeah. You need to back yourself, and you need resilience. Like, you can't just buckle.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying not throwing stones. There's no wrong or right. I got 11 and a 12-year-old, so that scares me a lot. But also, I don't want them to go through stuff I went through. So there's this balancing act as a parent these days, right?
Well, it's very true, Paul. We use that word old school.
Yep.
We are old school.
Yep.
Kids don't like to hear it. They'd say, what do you mean by that? I said, well, in our days, we would work 16 hours a day.
And it was survival mode as well back then, I reckon.
Bitch about it.
We
just did it.
Had to do it.
And we did it. And we didn't call up in the mornings and say, don't feel too good. We went to work.
Yep.
Every day.
Yep.
And we did it. But we had teams. Teamwork for me is so important that you get on with your people, If it's not the right fit, then move on.
Yeah.
I tell the hospital.
It's really good that you say that. Yeah.
Don't waste your time.
No.
Go find
the longer you stay on that train, the longer the walk back.
Go find your passion.
Yep.
I'm a geologist by trade. I mean, that's what I studied at uni, but it wasn't my passion. And my old man told me that. He said, if you want to be wealthy, stick to geology, but it's a lonely profession, he said. And that was 40 years ago.
I was going to say, not many 40 years ago would say that. It'd be like, go save white picket fence.
No, he said, go and enjoy yourself. You like rock and roll? You like people? You like stick to hospitality. He told me that.
That's so good.
And then I slipped into the oyster world, and that's how it all happened. I did a year of geology in Peru, and I had fun, but it wasn't the way
it didn't light the fire in your belly.
It didn't give me that
fire. So there's a couple of questions in my head.
I
knew that were going to come out.
Here.
So when you're at embassy, actually, it doesn't matter where you are. Talk to me about the type of oysters and local here.
Okay, well, listen, Australia has great seafood.
And then we might actually crack one.
Yeah, I've got a couple of oysters there for you to have a taste. When I arrived here, like I said, 30 years ago, there wasn't any fresh oysters, and I was sort of baffled. But then, thank God, I got into the business with Warren Mead. And we did the fresh oysters.
Yep.
We finally, and there's many farms here in Australia. So I was actually the first person to put an Albany rock on the Australian map.
Is it really?
So, yeah, I was. 29 years ago.
Oh, wow!
So no one knew about them. And it was a little farm. It's a hobby farm. It's not anymore because Twiggy's bought it and he's resurrected the farm to be one of the best in Australia.
Is it really?
Yeah. So it's a great oyster. It's a different oyster. It's a WA rock oyster from Albany.
Yep.
And then we have, your South Australia.
I'm a Smoky Bay, Coffin Bay person.
So you're a South Australian oyster lover. They're probably the most common, the Coffin Bays and Sedunas and all that.
Because your Sydney ones and that are a bit more creamy.
Well, Sydney rocks, the profile is very different. They're buttery. They're very buttery.
Yeah, buttery.
Very earthy, minerally, quite metallic.
What about you personally? What's your...
In Australia?
Are you biased with the Albany?
No, I'm not biased, but I love Albany, but my favorite oyster comes from St. Helens in
Tasmania. I live there. I've been there.
So there's a little farm in Tassie. Yeah. We don't get them over here in Perth.
My auntie owns a place in St. Helens.
Well, we need to have a chat then. Because when Fiona and myself go over there, we go to Lease 65, owned by Craig Lockwood, old friend of mine.
Yep.
Probably the best farmer in Australia, I think. And that's in Malting Bay in St. Helens. So when we go to Tas, we always make a trip to see him.
Is that right? Yeah.
And I've done a few events over in Melbourne, Sydney, and in Adelaide using his oysters.
Tassie oysters are wicked.
They're the best.
I lived in Hobart for a few years, and I went down south to the oyster farm. My dad took me down there, actually. Never really lived with my dad all my life, but we moved over there together. I was in a bit of trouble when I was 18. And I went over there for a few years before I joined the Defence Force. And the best thing I did do with my dad there is travel around and fishing, because he's mad fisherman and all that. Trout fishing.
Yes.
First trout on a fly rod in Tasmania on the Huon River, Huon River, south of Hobart. But the oyster farms and going down and fishing around them, unbelievable. The water in that of Tasmania is unbelievable. And the air.
Paul, it's my favourite place to go is Hobart.
How beautiful
it's my number one. Fiona and I love Tassie. The best food culture in Australia, I think, is in Tasmania,
is that right?
Personally.
I've been for years, but yeah.
And the number one restaurant for me in Australia is in Hobart.
What is it?
It's called Pepina.
Yeah.
Pepina, it's right in the middle of Salamanca there.
Yeah, in Salamanca, yeah.
It's owned by a very famous chef called Massimo Mele, who's very well known over in Tas and on the East Coast. Not so much over here, but he's been over here to do some classes. But that restaurant is unbelievable. It's a beautiful place. But I just love Tas. I love Tas.
My mate, he's a chef. He was a chef here. He was in the Navy, and the other day I told him he was just in Tassie. Actually, he went and done a trip, and then he obviously knows who you are. And I said I had you coming on, and he's like, "Oh, the Oyster King, wicked!" And he's mad. And he just got back from Tassie and being a chef. Everywhere he went was wine and food, and he went with his wife, and they got a motorhome, and drove around. And he goes, it was the bomb. I've been for years, I think, since 2019 or 17 or something like that. Yeah, he reckons it was amazing. Everyone says that. There's not one person that comes back from there and says it's not
everyone
fresh.
Everyone says, "Oh, it's too cold." I said, "What do you mean too cold? Put a jumper on."
Nice and fresh.
It's exactly. But I say it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And you know what? I love Adelaide. People say,
me too.
It's very quiet. I said, no.
I love Adelaide
got
too.
Great food culture.
It has.
And I enjoy, I'm a foodie. So, I go for the food, and got some great wineries around there, and I've been to many.
Beautiful.
Fiona loves a good, a good sparkles and a good, good Riesling to go with the oysters. And they've got some great stuff over there.
What's your go-to wine? Are you a white seafood?
I don't drink, as you know, but if I had to suggest, when I was in London, it was always French, French Chablis and stuff. But over here, I think your Rieslings go really, really well with oysters.
Yeah, Riesling.
And Sauv Blancs.
Yeah.
Those seem to be the ones that really go well.
Yeah, it's good to know.
But nowadays, you guys, apparently, you've got some great, great wines over here.
We do.
WA as well,
Do you ever have the non-alcoholic stuff?
I've tried it, didn't like it.
Didn't like it?
No, it's like the same with beer. Non-alcoholic beer. So, Jerry, try it. I just don't. I drink ginger beer. I love my ginger beer.
Yeah, how good?
Yeah, I just love it. I love that little bit of peppery stuff,
Yep.
But,
What oysters have we got here?
Well, we got some Coffin Bays today.
Oh, have we?
We're just going to show you real quick. We're gonna have a couple oysters each just to show you how fresh they are. These are, Coffin Bays. So one of the favorite farms that we use. As you know, I just
love Coffin Bay. Coffin Bay and Smoky Bay.
Yeah. Well, Smoky Bay is one of my favorite areas.
Yeah.
There's a famous farm in Smoky Bay, which when we travel, Fiona and I go see the Holmes family, Colleen and Jeff Holmes. They've got a beautiful farm in Smoky Bay called SA Premium Oysters, yeah?
Yep.
And they've got a viewing platform, number one in the Southern Hemisphere. I tell people.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think I might have went there. Is that where is there a van or something there as well where you buy out of?
Can do, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I drove over about 3 years ago with the wife.
It's unbelievable.
And the kids, and we stopped in there, and it was, unreal.
To be able to drive through the Eyre Peninsula and just stop off and eat oysters anywhere.
How good?
How good is that? Seriously.
It doesn't get much better.
It doesn't get much better. And if and being in the business, you get to know who the farmers are. For me, it's very important to know who the farmer is.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
It's like when you go to a winery, you want to know who the winemaker is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the bit of the story.
Absolutely. There's always going to be a story.
Yep.
And my oyster story fits in with so many others, in Australia with the farms and all that. They said, Jerry, just come and visit, put the waders on and come out in the water.
How good.
Man, how good is that?
Mate.
You can't do that anymore.
So you're not just at the table, you're in there before it even comes out of the water.
Go into the shucking shed or you go out on the water. And I prefer to go out in the water.
That's unreal.
And, like I said earlier in the conversation, when I arrived here, that no one knew what shucking was.
Yep.
And now everyone's got oysters on their menus.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. So the oysters are there, fresh in.
Yep.
Coffin Bays, decent oyster knife. We talk about knives, but when I do master classes, I always, talk about the knife.
Yep.
I wear a rubber thimble. Everyone says,
what?
We
got there? We've got
some nice Coffin Bays, yeah? So we're going to just shuck them very gently. So the knife goes in, and then I just do a little pop, boom.
Yep.
And we try and keep all the juices in because it's still very fresh. And that basically is your fresh oyster.
What do we look for when we open them up?
Well, I'm looking for color. I'm looking for the natural ocean waters inside. It's still leaking there a little bit from the adductor, which is good news.
Yep.
Still alive in my hand, actually, as we talk.
Yeah, wow.
So it's going to be ready for eating. So in the hospital, we don't use the word alive and dead. We try not to.
Yeah.
Freshest item on the menu and ready for eating. That's what I say. And then very gently, I'm going to cut the adductor, which is there, and we just gently cut it. Oh, and we turn it over, and there it is. And that just happens to be my alarm clock going off, saying time to eat. So that is a fresh Coffin Bay.
Yep.
And you've got a little lemon wedge there.
Nice.
So you're very welcome to be the first to go for it.
All right.
And I will join you. Now, these are full on. I've got
now I'm with
cloth
the man.
for you, cloth for you.
Cloth for me.
Just in case.
Now I'm here with the man himself. Is there shit you shouldn't do? Is there like?
Well, you don't swallow whole.
You don't?
No, you chew first and then you swallow.
Oh.
So you got to do it now. You got to do it properly.
Yeah, all right, whatever. While in Rome.
So I have what's called naked on the half shell, folks.
Mm-hmm.
So naked means there's no lemon, no vinaigrettes, just straight out the shell. Paul's got a little lemon, a little citrus, just cuts the salt water. That's all it does. So you'll taste salt, ocean, iodine flavored.
Yep.
And then a little bit chewy.
Yep.
But soft, yeah?
Yep.
And the adductor muscle is sweet. That's that little muscle.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Get shucked.
Get shucked.
Mm.
Oh, now.
Oh,
I will not be able to have an oyster without chewing now that I've been told by myself.
Got to chew?
I don't. I do sometimes and I don't. But now it'll stick in my head and I'll be like...
Two chews and it's gone. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. So it's
put your shell in there. That's the evidence.
That was amazing.
Now we can do another one, but if you want that, you've had a taste. You want another taste?
Come on, let's go.
Come on. Okay.
Am I going to say no?
Fresh in, very gently. When I do the masterclass, I just tell people they've got to be very gentle. You don't get prizes for the quickest, yeah? Mm-hmm. So there's no speed in this.
No, it's quality.
Presentation.
Presentation, yeah.
So you can check and see what's going on, have a look. I tell the kids just to be very careful when they do shuck.
Yep.
I've got master classes coming up soon, actually, folks.
Have you?
Yeah.
Whereabouts? Where do you hold it?
Well, they're going to be held, believe it or not, at the Servo in Leaderville.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so it's part of the Nom Nom Festival,
yep,
which is a famous 6-week festival in Leaderville. And I'll be doing master classes. I got 4 of them at Servo. So it's at the end of, it's called, Nom Nom, Servo. Masterclasses with Jerry Fraser. I think it's the end of July and beginning of August, yeah? So there's a few classes there. Hey.
We'll use that as our thumbnail, Jerry.
Love it. Look at that. Oh.
How good.
Let's go for it.
Get shucked. That is so good.
No, that's fresh.
That is fresh.
Now, people like them on ice, I understand now. I'm quite a room temperature person. I just think it brings out the umami more.
I was going to ask you that earlier when you brought them in. I thought maybe...
Yeah. Some people like them very cold, but...
It's a bit like wine, something like... extra...
That is exactly what it is.
I need that little bit of chill. I think it feels fresher to me.
Yeah.
I reckon that's bang on, though. That wouldn't be room temperature, would it?
I mean, this is not quite room temperature. No. This has come out of my fridge, so... Yeah. Still is quite chilled. I serve them on. I like to serve them on ice, or like I do at Embassy. We serve them on ice or frozen little pebbles.
Yep.
So it's a pretty cool idea. But crushed ice would be the best way to serve oysters. I've got another one here for you just in case. Yeah. So we'll have 3 each. Yeah. Have 3 each, and then that's our zinc intake for the day.
Yeah, good.
So very high in zinc, very high in omega-3, very high in vitamin B12, folks, and believe it or not, very little calorie, very little cholesterol, very little
good
fat
for you.
Content. Very healthy.
Very healthy,
you. And they have to be fresh. You can't buy them from supermarkets where they're all frozen and defrosted and served to you. Look at that.
Get shot.
Get shot. Hey.
How good.
So,
But
pretty much
that was so good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know.
And I'll be honest. I know Jerry's pretty approachable and all that, but I'm really privileged and really lucky that I get to sit here and shuck some oysters in my office or on the podcast.
We don't usually do this, but I thought, what the hell? Let's do it.
Mate, why not?
Let's have some fun.
Yeah, love it.
And listen, my journey has been. I've been very privileged to be on this fantastic oyster journey. I know I put a lot into it, but people have been very sort of receptive as to what I do. I tell people I'm not really. I'm more of a entertainer.
Yeah,
because I like to talk and I love chatting to people. I get energy from other people.
Yep.
And everyone says, Jerry, when are you going to do that R word, retire? And I said, what? I said, I'll never retire.
Yep.
I said, when I do retire, it's going to be to that big oyster bar above us.
Yep.
That's when I'm going to retire.
Yep.
And I'll go and join them.
Yep.
They're all waiting for me there.
Yep.
So I'm 71 years old and I'm still going to keep going. Fiona says, we got to slow down. I said, yeah, I understand that. I can slow down.
Yep.
But for those who don't know, I did have a little incident last year. I had a heart attack.
Oh, you did you?
I was driving a car
and
I crashed in the tunnel.
So,
I know. Well, I don't like talking too much about it.
Yep.
Because people,
thanks for sharing.
People know that I've had something because they see photos of me in hospital and drinking coffee and stuff.
Yep.
Say, what's going on now?
Yep.
So that's the story. So I have sort of slowed down a little bit. 10 restaurants. Is that slowing down? I don't know.
So just
pacemakers in Jerry and the pacemaker. They call me.
Okay. So besides yourself, there was no one else hurt.
No, no one was hurt. No,
and nothing else. No, again, everything's really good.
Everything's good. Yeah.
So let's flip it on its side then. As much as it was in the tunnel, it could have been worse.
Well, I tell everyone it could have been a lot worse.
Well, it's kicked your ass a bit, and I bet you're a bit more mindful now as well, and got to slow down a bit. You got your pacemaker.
I'm slowing down. I'm only doing 4 to 5 hours at each venue. 4 hours usually.
What were you doing before?
Well, I was
push it out.
Well, I was doing 16 venues.
Yeah,
and I was doing 2 a day sometimes. Oh yeah. No, I was pushing it. But yeah, as you said, I was very lucky because it was the tunnel. And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, it wasn't on the freeway. Yep. Tunnel only goes one way, 80, 60, 40. One way.
That's true, yeah.
If I'd been on the freeway, I don't know. I wouldn't be here to talk, I don't think.
Very lucky.
So I was very lucky.
Yeah.
And Fee says, you got a second chance now. Just embrace it.
Yep.
And I understand what that means.
It's one of them life things, right?
Yeah.
Another light bulb moment, hey?
Yep.
Because let's be honest, you keep going hard, you won't get to enjoy it as long as you want. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I've realized that,
and we want you around shucking oysters for as long as you can.
I want to hang around for a while.
Not in the tunnel.
Yeah, no, not exactly. I mean, when I do drive through the tunnel now, because I go back to Maylands that way, and I sort of pass the place where it all happened.
Yep.
And it's kind of weird. It is a little bit weird, but
so can I segue to somewhere which I did want to bring up with you? So a young lady I've been talking to lately, Bianca, which you know. She works with Brooke.
Oh yeah, yes.
So actually, I was
wow.
I was with her yesterday and the day before, and she knew you were coming on.
Did she?
And she actually texted me this morning or last night and said, "Good luck with Jerry." But I only met Brooke at Embassy once. You couldn't do it. And
yeah,
she was
that's
there
right. Yep.
The other week, and I was actually giving Simon shit. I'm like, "What's going on with Jerry?" And
I love giving Simon shit.
And we're having a bit of banter about it. But I was talking to Brooke, and I don't know her, but then I was talking to Bianca the other day, and also Tyler. And Tyler's like, "Why don't you get Brooke on as well?" Right?
Yeah.
So I mentioned it to Bianca, and she mentioned it to Brooke a few days ago, and she's like, "Yeah, I'd go on." Tyler's like, "Why don't you do a duo with
me?"
These two?
Oh.
But what I didn't realize out of when I was talking to B the other night is you actually taught them at her house.
Yeah.
And I didn't know all this, right?
Yeah, no one really knows the stories behind all this. It was about 3 years ago.
So tell us a bit about that, because it's a bit of there's a legacy piece here.
Yeah.
Brooke's younger, we're talking
absolutely.
about how much you're doing. And
well, it all started probably 3 years ago.
Yep. So you're already on here, Brooke, all right? But we'll have to get you on person.
So I actually taught about 8 girls. We were at a restaurant, a friend of mine's restaurant. That's where we did the introduction, Peasant's Paradise in Northbridge.
Yep.
And we brought the girls in. It was about 8 girls, and Brooke and Bianca and a couple others.
There's Kelly, I think they're the 3 main ones.
Yeah, well, Kelly wasn't there.
Yep.
In those days. And of the 8 girls, we went back from the restaurant. We went to actually Bianca's house.
Yeah.
In Applecross.
Applecross, yeah.
And we did it in the garden, and we had 2 or 3 sessions there, shucking and talking and understanding what the whole process is. Not just the oysters. It's all about, the engagement with people, which is so important. Well, I think it's number one. Is the hospo side of
any
things.
business, people.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
And so the girls, Brooke opened up her own business called That Oyster Lounge, and that's when it all started.
How long has she been going?
They've been going about 3 years.
Oh,
yeah.
At that point,
when I taught them all that, and there's only 2 of them originals, which is Bianca and Brooke.
Yep.
And then Kelly's joined them.
Yep.
And now I think there's 3 new ones coming in.
Yep. She's getting busy, Brooke.
Yeah, well, she's been busy. Yeah. Well, they all have, actually. You know. All the shuckers that I've been involved with, like you've got Neil Forbes, who's called the Black Pearl.
Yep.
He's very, very busy. And I've known him for decades now. This young Carl, who was my apprentice at Meads.
Yep.
In those days, he's called The Shucker. He's still around. Then there's Tony Isles, Big Tony, and I worked at Meads together. He was a fish filleter then and fish buyer for Warren.
Yep.
Went to Coco's, and then he's been around. So he works at Endeavour Seafoods, and he does a lot of private events. Usually he does at the big pubs and stuff. He does the Whitfords and all that. So we're still very good friends. And then the new guy on the block is, there's a couple actually. The new guy on the block is a guy called Tom Betty from Shucks and Nibs. So Tom and I work together, and we do the Tom and Jerry show.
Oh, is that right?
I know.
How
so we
cool
started doing the Tom and Jerry show when we went down to Taste the Great Southern. So we went down with Lewin Coast, which owns Albany.
Yep.
Albany Rock Oysters, and we did some shows together.
So you've just segued to another a question I was going to ask you. A really, really good mate of mine is George at Tiller Farm.
Yep.
Have you been there?
No.
Haven't you? Because I've had events there at my ex's 40th, and I was one of the first to eat there when he built it on his property.
Yes.
And mates had Bryce and Laura, they had their wedding there as well. Yeah. But they had oyster shuckers, and I couldn't remember who it was.
I don't know who it was.
I don't know who it was.
I know George.
George does it himself.
Yeah, I know. George has done a lot of it himself.
I met him. He come and private cooked for us at a place down there.
Yeah. I did one event with George, but it was with a whole bunch of other chefs.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
It's a long time ago now. It was with Yoda and all that crew.
Yeah.
So that's all that crew.
George is such a legend. He's a wicked story.
They're all legends down there.
Aren't they?
I love working with them,
It's like a whole different community.
It is. Yep. And the thing is, when we do this annual Taste of the Great Southern, which is down in Albany and Denmark now. Because we've included Denmark.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted
They
wanted a bit of action, so we gave it to them.
Beautiful place.
We bring over chefs from the East Coast as well, which I love working with. Yeah, they bring over Ahoy Management. That's the name of the company that runs it. They brought over two chefs this year. Great chefs. Loved it.
Yep.
And in my early days when we opened Print Hall, I don't know if you remember Print Hall.
Yeah.
That would be opened about 13 years ago, I think, when we launched it. And they built an oyster bar for me in Print Hall. That's how they got me there.
Wow.
Because I was freelancing at the time.
Is it the same print hall now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just got refurbed.
And I still do print once a month.
Oh, you
I'm
do?
still there once a month. Yeah. So I'm there once a month, which is great. So I've gone back to my old home. But I did a lot of work.
Actually, I think, shout out, I'm going to try and get him on one day. Brian Ho, I think he done the refit.
Well, Brian's an old mate of mine.
He is.
Yeah. I've known Brian.
He's in like similar circles, like a heap of close friends of mine.
Yeah.
And God, he's a character, man. He's a fucking
Brian's been around
character.
a while. You just mention my name to Brian.
I will, definitely.
Say, Brian.
I'll be dragging him on some point as well.
Brian's great.
Yeah.
And I see him at Print Hall once in a while. He was in the early days when they were refurbished and all that, because that's owned by the Night Owl Group now.
And then he had his big birthday there.
Yeah,
Didn't he tie that on?
He does. He knows
how to do it.
He knows how to do it. And Print Hall still is
it's a cool
iconic.
Place. I actually went there the other night after a meeting in the city, like 10 o'clock at night, walked in, just had a beer. I haven't been there for ages.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. A really cool place.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, people ask me, Jerry, you do 10 venues. Which is your favorite? I don't have it.
All different?
Everything is different.
And it comes down to the people, I'm guessing.
It comes down to people.
Atmosphere, environment.
Demographics are different. Atmosphere is different. Lyric Lane tonight, which is in Maylands, full house.
Wow.
The owner just called me yesterday. He says, Jerry, no more bookings. We're full. I said, yep, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
not a bad problem, no?
Not a bad thing to do. Little wine bars I do around town. Birdie and Bassendine on a Sunday once a month.
Yep.
Bassendine wakes up. I tell you, we
does it
fill
really?
Out. Yeah, we do 60, 70 dozen oysters for a Sunday lunch.
That's unreal.
Wild.
Without telling me exactly, like, I obviously know you do it with love and passion, but obviously you got to make money off it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it good money?
Well,
is it comfortable, or is it like really good, or do you not care, or like bit of everything?
You know what? Truthfully,
yep,
it's not about the money. Never has been for me.
Yep.
People say, well, you do weddings. Why don't you charge double what you charge?
Mm-hmm.
And I say, you know what? I want the bride and groom to think one day, geez, we had a great wedding. Jerry was there shucking for us.
Yep.
And if I put my prices double what people tell me to do, some people can't afford that.
Yep.
And I don't want that.
Yeah. So it's a brand. It's the legacy. It's
about the legacy.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I just want people to say, mate, the old boy was there shucking at our wedding. And I have to, every day when I'm at a restaurant, people will come up and say, Jerry, do you remember 10 years ago when you came to my house and shucked in the garden, or you did my wedding 20 years ago? I said, well, where was it? And are you still married? Because there's been a couple that have said, no, we're not married anymore. But I said, yeah, that's
the ratio of divorces, it's up there.
But yeah, I try and remember as much as I can. Now, people say I have a great memory of faces and people. I think I do after I gave up all that
the partiness. You know what, though? You do have a very good memory, and I always pick this up with people, how well we can go back and forth in a story.
Yeah.
And like when we were talking earlier, like, and obviously you kicked off from when you were little, and a lot of, like, sometimes I can't remember some certain stuff, but you got this whole your pivotal points.
I don't know what it is.
And going back to the journey piece, it's actually really cool, because one of the main things that I get when I have someone on here, we're so fast paced these days, right? I think you've learned all that. Us young dickheads are still learning about the whole shift and light bulbs, but we're so fast paced, we don't take a moment to sit where we are.
Yeah.
And that's actually the reason I started. It's like peeling back the layers and going, why we are where we are today. Like, I'm 43. I think I'm just crossing the starting line.
Yep.
I love business and all that. Work 10, 15 hours a day the last 10, 15 years, all that kind of stuff, divorce. But it's like, you just got to take a moment, and a lot of people sit there, they don't do that. They're constantly, and I'm just like, so let's talk about it. And they're like, something happened when I was 10. That's probably why I am like I am.
Absolutely.
And you start piecing it together, and people are like, thanks for that moment.
A little jigsaw you put together.
It is, right? And
you're right. It's moments of life that you do remember. And people ask you. I'm glad you brought things up that I'd speak about it, but I don't always speak about it.
Yep.
I think important things in my life at the moment are my wife and my sons, and my grandson.
Yep.
It's all that really matters.
Yep.
And they say, what is number one for you? And that's number one for me, not the work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, I do 10 venues. I've got 12 knocking on the door. So I pick and choose where I prefer working.
What a fucking position to be in.
It is. It's an unusual position.
And you're still talking that it's third on the list, and basically it's filling your gaps between your boys and your partner. It's like your wife.
That's it. And I love...
And it's something you love.
I love traveling.
Yep.
I do love to travel. I don't travel
How often do you travel?
Well, I used to do a lot of events outside of Australia.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've done...
Even after you come here, you leave again and go.
When I arrived here, I went to Jakarta and did a 2-week festival there.
Wow.
Then I went to Bali 5 times. I did 5 festivals there. Been to Singapore, done 2 festivals there.
Talk to me about oysters over there.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Are they good, bad,
we used to fly them in from all over the world.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do they have anything there like that? No, because I was thinking that because of the water.
Don't eat the locals.
No.
Don't eat the locals. Shellfish.
No, not at all.
I went to Chicago. I went to the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago for 2 weeks.
Nice.
Flown over, taken care of. It was fantastic. Believe it or not, I was feeding Duran Duran.
Yep.
At the time.
I was going to ask you that. What celebrity?
Yeah.
What moments have you been?
Different parts of the world, I've been in situations where I've, some people know this, but when I was working in oyster bars in London, not Bentley's, but it was another one called Green's. In those days, it was Prince Charles and Princess Di came in. And
oh, wow.
I didn't obviously talk to them, but I was feeding them seafood.
Yeah, that's a moment.
It's a moment. He's not a king.
Yep.
He's a King Charlie now. At the end of the day, everyone's VIP, I tell them.
Yep. We're all human.
When I arrived here and I was working at Mead's,
yep.
I didn't know anyone in Perth. I was just a shucker.
Yep.
And everyone kept saying, "Oh, don't you know who that is who's serving?" I said, "No, don't know who it is." He said, "Oh, there's blank blank." I said, "Oh, wow, okay. Yep. Who's he?"
And you're probably still
famous person in Perth.
Oh, yeah.
But
and you're probably still friends with him now because of your personality and relationship.
He's passed away, but yes, so still, I'm friends with a lot of people.
That's what I mean.
And I love hugs. I'm tactile.
Yep.
So I love giving people hugs, and the handshake thing doesn't do it for me.
Yep.
I just love giving people a hug and saying, yeah, everything's good. And like I said earlier, it's the mental health thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you just sit down with anyone and just have a coffee. You don't even have to talk. Just sit and just look. And if you want to have a chat, man, I'm always open to chats.
That
And I
is
love
so
to
cool.
chat. And I love to chat.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a big talker.
But you also know
But
that
I'll have to switch off and let people talk.
that is so good. Like, I'm probably that guy in our friends group as well.
Yeah.
Like lads struggle with that stuff. I'm pretty vulnerable because I don't. If you want to be a good listener or be there for someone, you've also got to be vulnerable yourself.
Have to.
Like you today, you've been pretty honest about. And like I said, this space, people don't even want to come on. They're a bit scared or anxious.
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes in, it's because I think it's about having that space.
Absolutely.
And you got to be a bit accountable, a bit vulnerable yourself, and then people will open up, right?
Absolutely.
And if you can do that, it's amazing, because the amount of people that get anxiety, like, I'm not talking podcasts, I'm talking about just in general, waking up in the morning.
Yeah.
People that get anxious, anxiety, or they've got to go, or something's not working for them. It's easy for us to say it always works out in the end, but our mind is the most powerful thing. 95% of it, I've said it heaps, is subconscious, which is from our childhood.
Yes.
5% conscious. So it can be the most powerful thing in a positive way, but it can also be the other. And that's what gets our head stuck in the sand.
Yeah, it does.
And it only takes someone to say good morning, or, hey, do you need an ear?
Hey.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I tell people, just look people in the eye and say, hey, all okay?
Yep.
Are you okay? If you ever want to have a chat,
Yep.
text me, phone me. I'm there.
So someone I had on here, and that's really good to know, Jerry, and that's awesome. And you would see so many different people in hospitality, right? From young ones to old ones. And there's no rule book with any of this shit, right?
Oh, no rule book.
And
no rule book.
I had Mo on here from Happiness Co. So him and Julian and Robbie, probably know the guys at Happiness Co. Julian's actually, I'm getting him on here as well.
Fantastic.
Because I sponsored their gala last year, and then we're going to do. He's going to come to a workshop, but whatever I was going to do with Julian, I want to record it, because I want everyone I onboard in my business to watch, and like the self-care and the mental health, and really start to understand it, because we all struggle at a certain point.
We do.
All of us. And it goes back to the Roblox risks and resilience that we build.
Absolutely. All of us do.
And the awesome bit about it, though, even though at the time there's struggles, that's actually what makes us. That's actually what grows us outside our comfort zone. It's not the wins and the easy days.
Oh, no.
It's the hard days when you don't want to get out of bed, or something bad's happening in the you know.
Exactly.
That's life. You know, like
we have to face it.
We do. The reason you're here is the big light bulb moment you had, right? And it will not leave your fucking mind.
It never will.
And it's
and
probably
I like
what drove
about
you.
it, because a lot of people know that my partner is Fiona, and she's the
Pearl.
The Pearl. They know what a hard worker she is, and what a great educator for kids that she is and still will be.
Yep.
And they know that we've all had our ups and downs. For God's sake, it's not smooth running. That's for sure.
Yep.
But hey, that's part of life. It's part of learning.
I just talking about Fiona. We were talking about it earlier, and I always say there's not much I probably couldn't do, like work-wise and all that.
Yeah.
But go to the aged care system or the NDIS, like all that system I couldn't do. But what Fiona does, being in the remote, Jerry was saying she's up there, and there's about 10 students, and it's in the local communities up there, remote communities, and it's like you might have 1 student or 10. And I just kind of been around that stuff over the years, working in mining and all that kind of stuff. I take my hat off to her, because I don't think I could do it. And we need more people like her.
Yeah, we do.
It's all about changing the culture, not changing, but evolving the culture, and like supporting, educating, and the whole education piece. You haven't got everything you've got here.
No.
You know what I mean?
And she's learning. She's learning
too.
She's learning 3 new languages up there.
Is that right?
Yeah. She's
fascinating.
And she goes fishing now in rivers, and
yep.
loves getting out in the 4-wheel drive and driving through the river. And, that's what she wants to take me to.
I was about to say.
No, she goes up to the waterfalls, and she goes into the gorges and does trekking. And it's a different life.
Yep.
Different life.
She get to experience stuff, though, we don't get to. Like, it'd be amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And the fauna and the flora are so different.
Yep.
And everyone says, you must be pretty lonely. Well, I don't think she is lonely.
Yeah.
If there's anyone lonely, it's probably me at night when I go home and no one's there.
Yep.
But I work late at night, until late. So for me, it's not an issue.
How many nights a week?
Well, I'm doing probably 5 to 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every night,
yeah. Well, that's when it all happens.
Yeah.
You know.
So who's on a Monday, Tuesday?
Well, I mix it up. Froth Brewery on a Monday.
Oh, Froth, yeah.
So
over there at West Coast?
Up in North Beach.
Yep.
Yeah. Gets pretty wild.
What night's that?
That's usually on a Monday night once a month.
Is it really? Yeah, okay.
So when the weather changes, so September.
Oh, that'd be nuts.
Yeah, it goes nuts. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we've got Barn Barn.
Where's that?
Thai restaurant in Northbridge, Tuesday night.
Wow.
It goes off.
Does it really?
Well, we do what's called the street market.
Yep.
Yeah. Because
that's cool.
She's got female chefs in the kitchen.
Yep.
And they all come out, and she has a garden, and they have little stalls.
Yep.
And then we got a guy who does cocktails, comes in, or artisan brewing come in, and they do the beer, and then they just buy a ticket for half a dozen oysters or a drink. The rest is rock and roll. Unreal. And for me, she's the best Thai curry in Perth. The Barn Barn. Just remember that one. She's unbelievable.
I love getting told good food spots.
She's good food.
Good atmosphere.
By
the sound.
Great atmosphere.
Yeah.
Sells out.
Yeah.
It goes wild.
So,
it's all filmed.
If I was to follow you around, say, I'm like, a fan, which I am, and how do I know where you're going?
All right. The best way to find out where my calendar is to get on the website. It's www.theoysterking.co. So .co. Yeah?
Yep.
Get on there. There's a calendar. There's my life story. That you can follow me wherever you want.
Nice.
You know what's going on. The masterclasses. It's all there.
Oh, it's all there. Yeah.
It's all there. And there are the podcasts. The previous podcasts are on there.
Are they? Awesome.
Yes. So there's 5 of them.
We'll have to hook you up on this one as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's going on.
We'll make sure we note that in the post and when we launch this podcast and the reels, because I always put reels out first and then the podcast.
Absolutely. Let's put it on my website. Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome.
And Instagram is just Gerald Fraser.
Yep.
So GERALD.Fraser. And Facebook is Jerry Fraser with a J.
Yep.
So, So I grew up in South America. That's why the J.
Yep.
Yeah. For Jerry.
Tell me, over your travels and over the years, tell us some, not always the fun bits. When's the bits when your ass is going like that, or you're nervous, or something's going wrong, bad, or tell us some.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little story. Once I did a big event. Well, I still do the.
And how do you get through it as well?
Oil and gas expos here in Perth.
Yep.
Been doing it for 20 years, I think, or 17 years, I think we've been doing it. And they're a famous 3-day festival or expo. It's an expo.
Yeah, expo, yeah.
They're all coming in from all over the world. It was one year where I didn't order the oysters. The head chef did. And he ordered oysters from a certain purveyor. I can't mention names. Yep. It wouldn't be fair.
No, that's good call.
So the oysters arrived, and they were from East Coast. They weren't from Albany. They were from the East Coast, from Sydney.
Yep.
And I arrived on the premises, getting the oyster bar ready, and I told the head chef, I said, a good mate of mine, I said, and he was new, he was from England, and he brought the oysters in, and I looked at him, I said, oh, mate, have you had a smell of these? And he says, what do you mean? I said, well, just smell. I said, they're off. Now, this is what had happened. I looked at the bag that they came in.
Yep.
There was a what we call, there's a ticket on there, or a tag, as we call it. And on the tag, there was a sticker on the tag. It was from a different purveyor. So what had happened, this purveyor that they'd ordered the oysters off had bought from another purveyor in Perth. And I said, have a look at the harvest dates on these. And the harvest date was 2 weeks prior. So these oysters had been sitting around for probably, because it takes about 4 days to get here.
Is it? I was going to ask you that.
So we're talking harvest date to arrival date, 3 to 4 days in those days. And then they've been sitting in someone's purveyor warehouse in a chiller for 2 weeks.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like from harvest, you can have them pretty quickly too, because that's what you want, fresh.
Well, we want them fresh as
possible. How do they travel? Is it just chilled, or are they iced or frozen?
No, never iced, always in a chiller truck.
Yep.
So they're a certain temperature. So we don't want them too cold because it kills the meat. So you want them between between 5 and 15 degrees, 7 is pretty good.
So you definitely never want frozen like that.
You don't want freezing down. You can't put them in a chiller that's too cold.
Yep.
So sometimes fridges in restaurants and chillers are too cold.
Too cold, yeah. I didn't know that.
So rock oysters can live out in the sun for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they used to just put them underneath the houses in the old days in sacks and fishing bags and leave them there for a couple of days so they'd live.
So where is the freshness start and stop?
Well, freshness for me, now this is for me, it's personal. So I always say if an oyster, if I shuck an oyster like we just did now and it sits for 3 hours, That's it. That's my time limit.
Oh, after shucking.
After shucking.
Yep.
So arrival time, so harvest to arrival time, they usually give you a use-by date of about, for rock oysters, about 2 weeks.
Yep.
So if it's harvested, you can still use them 2 weeks later as long as
day
they're whole shell, yeah?
And day 13, 14, they still be really good.
Still
like,
be
I
okay.
wouldn't know the difference.
No, you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
You can even, with rock oysters, you can even extend it through to 3 weeks.
Yep.
And you wouldn't know the difference.
I
might, because of maybe the lack of oyster liquor inside the shell.
Yeah.
But I can usually camouflage that. I don't like using that word, but I can get away with it because I know how to do it. If an oyster has traveled from the East Coast,
and
it travels.
We
used to fly them in the old days, but that doesn't happen. So it's all been trucked over now. So they truck over. Takes about 2 to 3 days to get here, and they'll lose water on the way over. So they're still alive shellfish.
Yep.
But they're in Hessian bags. But they will lose water slowly.
Yeah, okay.
Over. So there has been times when I've had oysters at a restaurant, delivered to me, and they're quite dry. And I have to call the purveyor and say, hey, guys, just make a call to the farm and just see what's going on, because these are a little bit on the dry side.
Yep.
So whether the farm has held back product, I don't know. We don't know.
You don't know,
I don't know. So you have to really have faith in your purveyor.
Yep.
Yeah.
And purveyor means?
Purveyor means your oyster supplier or your seafood supplier.
The middleman after the farm?
Yeah. So farmer, purveyor, Jerry Fraser.
Yep.
Or Shucker.
Yeah, the best.
So there's 3 of us, yeah?
Yep.
So the farmer will do whatever he can to make the best product possible.
Yep.
And then the purveyor will obviously supply all the venues.
Do you have your set purveyor here?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I use a company called Fins, F-I-N-S, Fins Seafood. Known them for about 8-9 years now. We're good mates. I did in the old days use Lana's, which was a very well-known purveyor. Still is. I still use them in certain events. But with Fins, I have a good relationship.
So I cut you off before, but I learned a lot just then. I love learning all this stuff, especially loving food and all that. But go back to the oil and gas.
Sorry,
no, that's all right.
That's
this is what I'm good at.
So that's what we were on. And I said to the chef, I said, mate, we got to ditch him. 300 dozen. Yes, exactly. He said, well, what do you mean? I said, we're going to ditch these 300 dozen. I want you to get on the phone now.
Yep.
Call the purveyor. Tell him what's happened.
Yep.
Tell him Jerry is not.
What was the time? When was the kickoff?
Well, I was there at 10. Kickoff was at 12. And I said,
2 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours. You said, you got to call him now and just get oysters for one day.
Yep.
And then we can work out the next 2 days. Yeah.
Yep.
And he said, well, I said, yeah, you have to do it.
Yep.
I said, this is a story, mate. I said, you guys took over the purchasing of the product.
Yep.
Where in the past I used to do it.
Yep.
And I used to go direct to Albany.
Yep.
And they would deliver to me
straight
to the Perth Convention Centre. So they were the freshest.
Probably tried to save a little bit of money. Now it's cost them an absolute fucking bomb.
And it's going to not look good either. And poor guy, the poor chef, I still keep in touch with him.
Yeah.
But, that was one of the events which I thought, oh, mate.
So did you get oysters? You got oysters?
Yeah, we got oysters.
From the same purveyor, or did you use connection and get your own?
Another purveyor.
Yeah.
Because I thought, they're doing the shonky.
Yep.
They did the shonky.
Yeah. It was like subcontracting out again. So there's 4 steps instead of 3 from the harvester.
Yeah, they got, they went to another purveyor and bought from them. And they bought old product. They probably didn't know. Because they don't check. They just say, I need 300 dozen. Can you just send them?
Yeah.
So that original...
It's a big amount.
Yeah. So the other purveyor, he said, we got some old oysters here. No one's going to know. Just put your sticker on it and boom. And then the use-by dates were different. Yep. So, I check everything. So when a tag arrives, I keep the tags and I give them to chefs. I said, keep the tags. Always going to have them just in case health inspector walks in and needs to see, where your oysters are from. And on that tag, it's got harvest date, the farm.
Is that right?
I've got all the info you need.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on that.
And there's a responsibility and a duty care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Like we're talking about challenging times. What about, has there been people sick and all that kind of stuff over the years?
I've had 1 or 2 people say, oh, Jerry, that oyster wasn't the best. I said, did you chew it and eat it? And they say, yeah. I said, okay. There's 2 things we can do.
Yeah.
If you have to go to a doctor tomorrow, I need to know. But I'm going to send out a couple more oysters for you now on the house.
Yep.
Just to cover it.
Yep.
And usually everyone's fine. I've never had an issue. There was one moment when I had worked in Singapore with an exec head chef from Aussie.
Yep.
And he'd left Singapore to go to Saudi to open up a new racetrack up there. in Dubai.
Wow.
And a new hotel, and it booked me in to come and do the launch.
Yeah.
It's a few years ago now. And great chef. And a week before I was supposed to fly, we had tickets and everything ready to go. He says, "Oh, Jerry, we're going to have to cancel. We've had French oysters arrive here, and we've had about 10 guests get poisoned by food poisoning from French oysters."
Wow.
He says, "I don't want you coming out here and tarnishing your name."
How good is that?
Yeah, no, great. Ashley, great guy. So, yeah, that happened. I didn't get to go, sadly, but, could have been the other way around.
It could have, for sure. So how many different places do you reckon you've shucked in?
I've worked in 5 continents.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I've done a little bit of, I got an opportunity in Vancouver to jump in behind an oyster bar. We were actually on holiday.
Yeah.
Visiting friends. We went up there actually to spend Fiona's 50th birthday at the Great Bear Lodge, which is up in the wilderness of Canada.
Yep.
Which is a little lodge that floats in a little lake up there. And you have to fly in on a seaplane. Yeah. Only 16 people allowed. Unbelievable. Well, my friends live in Vancouver that I grew up with in Peru, and they took me to an oyster bar. It was very famous. It's called Rodney's. Yep. And the guy was shucking away. We were just watching and taking photos. Yep. Didn't know who I was. And then Fiona says, you want to jump in there, don't you?
Yeah, don't you? Yeah,
I said, yeah, I wouldn't mind just shucking one. So I got talking to the shucker at the time, and I just said, oh, mate, I do a little bit of shucking back in Perth, Australia. He said, oh, yeah. Do you want to come in? And so Fiona filmed it. So I jumped in and shucked a few for the group that I was with. That was quite a magic moment for me. That was different. Running the oyster bar helping to run the oyster bar in Florida was different. Yep. It was a pretty wild day for me.
And that was the beginning again, wasn't it?
That was the very, very beginning. And I wasn't even going to do oysters. That wasn't even the thing. I think Savoy Hotel, London, was a great moment when they launched this new seafood bar and poached me actually from Bentley's to put me in there. And the Savoy was the #1 hotel in Europe at the time. So very well known. Wow. It was upmarket.
Not bad on the resume.
Not bad on the resume. Absolutely. Very strict. So I left after 2 years and went off and did freelancing.
So just on that, actually, because, you're pretty relaxed to love the banner and the personality and all that. But then there's a point, like, it's like in business, right? The 1%ers makes you different to everyone else, right? Yeah, so when you're doing the shucking and all that, all the places you've been, there must have been different standards a lot, right?
Absolutely.
And you'd have your standard, and we know where that sits. But what's kind of different? Like,
Savoy was very military driven. It was
regimented.
Very regimented. They had this Swiss guy who ran the whole show. He was very regimented.
Yep.
Didn't really want you to talk to customers so much. Just do your job.
Regimented. Yep.
Yeah.
Shut up and do that.
Yeah, pretty much. And it wasn't what I wanted to do.
I couldn't pitch you.
Well, all the owners of restaurants here and that I work with, they want me to go out and sit down and have a chat. Sit down serve them first, get the oysters out, or go and meet them as they walk in. I love to meet and greet. I love doing that. It's what I do. And it makes people feel comfortable. And they say, oh, okay, cool.
So good.
Nowadays, I hate to say this, but you don't get the greetings you should be getting.
Yep.
You don't even get, how was your meal? Hope to see you next time, Yep. You don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
And I hate to do this again, but it's the old school who do it.
Yeah, it is.
How's it going? Come on in, take a seat. And I do that at all the venues.
The old school, like they lose it a lot. Even with my kids, I'm learning how they communicate. You can't fight it. They just communicate different.
They do.
But if I'd be stoked if there's a couple of little things, even when I was growing up, my dad would tell me, like, don't have your hat at the table, and it was Mr. This. And you know what? I actually love them little bits that I got my kicked a bit. My grandfather. And
so did I.
Like, it's going to be less with my kids, but there still needs, like, big on the whole people skills thing, like shaking hands, hug, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, love letting the walls down and the connecting with someone, right? It's I think it's a big piece, and we're losing a lot of it. Yeah. It's just changing. Is it right or wrong?
I don't know.
It's just the generation.
I'll open a door for a lady.
Me too. Yep.
See,
I done it the other night. Actually,
and people look at me.
Yep.
I said, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter. I'll even pull a chair and let a lady sit down.
So you want to know the best?
I'm very old school.
That is so cool. And you know what I like about it is I obviously date a bit now, being single again. Yeah. And it's like snail mail, like in the mail. Yeah. You do that now, people are amazed. Yeah, because it doesn't happen.
I know.
So you go open the door for a chick,
mate,
and you're like, pull the chair out.
Yeah.
It's like even paying for a meal now.
Right?
He's like, they're blown away.
They are blown away.
It's not hard to be, that.
In hospitality, where if you're walking around a restaurant, you've got a couple of waitresses who are young kids.
Yeah,
I'll let them walk in front of me. I'll guide them to the kitchen. They've got plates, so I say, "Yeah, you go ahead." And they look at me and go, "Oh, okay, thank you."
Yep.
You see,
and they're blown away because it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
Yep.
And it's a different world now.
Yep.
Paul. It's an IT world.
It is tech, and I'm a tech guy as well. Right?
I know.
Heaps of AI
you
and all
understand.
that. Speaking of tech and AI,
mate. Oh, don't start.
When were you racing F1?
Mate. Now, listen, this is Simon's doing.
Me and Tyler were laughing at this the other day.
Fridays. Well, tomorrow there'll probably be a new one coming out. He's got into the AI.
Yeah.
Big time.
With Andrew, probably. Anthony, sorry. Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah.
So they got a little, I think, company in America that do all the AIs. So now everyone loves watching the Oyster Man.
I must have watched it 5 times.
Oh, mate. Everyone talks to me about it. When you get 20,000 views in one night.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? It works.
Yep.
And everyone says to me nowadays, "Hey, what sport are you going to do now? What are you going to be doing?" I said, "I don't know. Talk to Simon. He's the one that does it."
So you're actually going to update it?
Oh, he will.
Simon will.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's actually cool.
Yeah,
because you're old school and all this stuff.
Oh, I'm old school.
And then you go and do that. Like,
I know.
It was really cool.
It's wild stuff, It's what's ever happening sport-wise. It's a World Cup at the moment, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Ah, yeah, nice.
You never know. You never know.
Do you follow it a bit?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I love soccer, yeah.
I had Chris on here yesterday, so he was Croatian. I married a Croatian, so I got a bit of a soft spot for that still. And when we had Chris in here yesterday, Croatia won, actually, as we're talking.
They did.
1-0, yeah. So I think at 54th minute or something, they kicked a goal. And
there's a lot of great teams out there. I mean, Messi, for me, is still the greatest,
Yep.
Yeah, he's already got 5 goals. But, my son, my oldest boy, we talked about Cam. He got a scholarship to go to America to play soccer.
Oh, you did?
When he was 17.
Wow.
So he went off to...
How long did he go for?
Well, he did his 2 degrees over there. So he went to a place, if I can remember, it's called Bruton Park. It was in Georgia.
Yep.
Baptist College.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was 5 Aussies that went.
Wow.
Scholarships. 3 from WA. So we took Cam over there. He was only 17. He was a young kid.
What an experience.
What an experience that was. So while we were over there, we went down to Tampa to visit my mates that I went to uni with. So I got some great photos, and the boys met my mates. It's really weird.
Yep.
And my mates are still party boys.
Yep.
You can imagine.
Yep.
And I wasn't, but that didn't.
They still wouldn't appreciate it.
Oh, mate, they gave me kisses and hugs and everything. And then Cam, after 2 years at this uni. With 2 other of the Aussie boys. It was because it's a Baptist college. It was too religious.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because these guys are from Perth, and they're larrikins, mate. They're 18, 19-year-old kids.
Yep.
They all moved to different universities.
Yep.
And Cam went up to Ohio and
finished. How like talking about the journey, and a little bit on your son. How much do you reckon that helped where he was today? Had that experience going over there, like at 17, like
big time.
I didn't travel to. I think I met my wife and went to Croatia with her. Like at 17 and. And to go meet your old man's friends.
Oh,
there's a whole, your
and
history.
He was left over there because we had to leave.
There.
And that was heartbreaking for Fiona, even her eldest boy.
Yeah, of course.
It was hard. It was hard to leave him.
But you guys would be so proud of him now.
We're proud of it, both us.
The learnings cool. And,
and he learned a lot. Well, he got 2 degrees in the end. He was going to go to UWA and do, I think, some sort of engineering degree, but he went to America because he had a scholarship and got a degree in commerce and psychology.
Yep.
And that's where the psychology part of it.
Stepping stone now.
Yeah. Yep. Did his sexology degree in Curtin University.
Unreal.
In Perth. So, yeah.
Once again, as we're talking before about young ones in hospital or any industry, I think the thing that is missing a lot is the resilience bit. But you're over there without your family, out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
What do you learn real quick? Resilience. Confidence, back yourself, all the things that you need in life, right? People skills.
You learn very quickly, I tell you that. I was 11 when I went to boarding school in England. So I had my parents in South America. I was dropped off at boarding school.
That's why not much
from an American school.
Yep.
Where I wore jeans and T-shirts and a baseball cap and sneakers to school, to a boarding school in England.
Tie.
Grammar school, which is shorts, long socks, black shoes.
The whole proper.
Tie, blazer. Cap.
How'd you do it?
I did it. I spent 7 years there. So.
But there'd be things out of both worlds you would have appreciated, learned.
I did.
And not you don't know what you don't know, but being in both, it's someone
I learned
like
a lot
of
discipline when I went to school.
Yeah.
Wasn't too short, I became a bit rebellious in my...
How old were you then?
I was 11.
What, when you shifted schools?
Yeah.
Wow, 11.
So it's a change for mindset. So I'd never done Latin before. I'd never done chemistry and physics. You know, I didn't study those things when I was at the other school, you know, in Peru. Because I was up in the Andes of Peru, up at 13,000 feet, American school.
Yep.
And I went over there. I had a strong American accent. You know, I wasn't reading the books that the kids in England were reading at the time. You know, I was reading Hardy Boys.
Wow.
You know, that was my reading material. And then, you know, we had what was called RI, religious instruction. I never had that before.
Yep.
You know, you had your recess times when you all lined up and got your little bottle of milk. You know, at recess. Everyone did. Free bottle of milk.
Wow.
Thought, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Saving grace was my cousin, who's the same age as I am. He was a day boy at that school.
Yep.
Hence, I went to that school. My dad wanted me to go to school in England, UK.
Yep.
And it was probably the best opportunity because his brother was living in a place called Norwich and to send me there.
Yeah.
It was a famous school.
So how much of this stuff and the shift in the worlds, do you reckon, help teach you the people skill bit so you can adapt? You do now, right? Like, that's your strength, right? The whole people personality.
The first year was pretty full on.
It would have thrown you out of your comfort zone, right?
Oh, first year. Well, you know, in Peru, I had my own bedroom. I went to boarding school and I was sleeping in a room with 6 other people.
Totally different.
It was like
chalk and cheese.
Chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
You had your bed inspected every day. It was folded properly. You had your shoes inspected twice a day. You had to go to chapel in the morning, and then you had to go to chapel at night with your little hymn book.
How long did you do that for?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah. But I became a school prefect.
Yeah.
I did all the sports. I learned rugby and I learned grass hockey and I did athletics and I became very good at all of them. First couple of years, I was very high up academically because I studied and I got into.
Did you?
Yeah. I actually did quite well.
Yep.
I think it was the 3rd or 4th year I started being a bit rebellious. You got in a bit of trouble.
Yep.
Just sneak out and go to the pub.
Yep.
Get a beer, as you all did in those days. And then you get caught and you get put in the corner, stand in the corner.
You said you were drinking at 14 or whatnot.
Yeah.
You said,
so, you know, you had those little, you got a bit rebellious. And, you know, I was pulled up a few times. I got the strap a few times.
Yeah.
In those days, that's what they did. You know, you either got a plimsoll on your ass or you got a ruler behind your knee, you know.
That was that generation,
that was
right?
that generation. Or if you were courting after lights out at night, cold shower.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I had a few of them. Fuck.
Imagine that.
So it was a different life.
Yep.
Completely different life. But I would go home and visit the family. I think my mum was a bit upset that I was sent to boarding school. She really missed, you know, the eldest one going away. And I think still, you know, until the days they both passed away, I think she was still a bit pissed off.
How long ago was that, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I went to boarding school in 1967. So 67 to 74.
Yep.
So that's when I went to boarding school in England. But I would travel back and forth and visit. And then my brother also went to boarding school when he was, I think he was 14 actually when he went to boarding school. He went to another place called Taunton in Somerset. And then in 74, I went and did a couple of gap years. Like you Aussies like to do one.
Yep.
I did 3.
Yep.
That was my good old days. 18, 19, 20, travel South America.
Yep.
Yeah, I got into a lot of trouble.
And
you know.
Going back to the whole people skills thing, we're talking about where were you doing Shucking oysters and they're very regimented, Savoy.
Yes, yeah, it was.
So I think out of that you would have understood the whole regiment a bit from the boarding school, right?
Yeah.
By the sounds of it. That relates.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can piece that together. You would have kind of got that. You're good at both worlds by the sounds then because you've...
You have to have things in, you have to have your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to do that.
Yep.
I already had that sort of, you know, you've seen me. I come in early.
Yep.
I don't mess
You're on
around.
time, you're late.
Yeah. See, the thing is nowadays, which is one of my hates, is that if you're scheduled to come on at midday, don't walk in at 5 to 12.
Yep.
Come in at quarter to 12.
Yep.
And find out what's going on. Get a briefing. Find out, you know, what oysters are on the menu. Don't keep coming up to me because it's all in a briefing. In the old days, here we go back again, we used to have briefings.
Yep.
You know, staff would come in, front of house and back of house.
Yep.
And if you started at midday, 11 o'clock, you'd start. You'd come in, you'd clock in, and head chef would come out and say the dish of the day is so-and-so. These are the ingredients in the dish. Let's have a taste. And a sommelier would come out with a wine of the day and have a little taste of the vino you're going to serve today. there were incentives.
Is that because then you can relate also when you're serving? Obviously,
right, there's nothing worse than a waiter or waitress comes up to you and you say, "Well, what's actually on the plate?" No, I don't know. I have to go see the chef.
Yeah. Do you know one question I ask all the time? And you're like, "Where are your oysters from?"
Yeah,
and I reckon 50-50 they know.
They don't know,
but most of the time, like
they don't know.
It's like, hang on, I'll check. They'll say it, but then they'll go, "I'll go check."
I'll go talk to Jerry.
Yeah,
I'll go find out from Jerry. I'll go see chef. One of my, just a long time ago this happened, I used to go to supermarkets and when I go shopping and I look at the oysters that are in the display cabinets.
Yep.
And they always used to know me at one Woolies that I used to go to. The oysters were always labeled wrong, you know. If it was rock oysters, it had Pacifics.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And I'd go in there and say, "Hey, guys, wrong oysters again." And I do it on Facebook now. So I see a lot of restaurants posting photos.
And you can tell straight away.
Oh, I either know they're pre-shucked or I know it's the wrong species. So I write to them.
Yep.
Not all of them, because I know
that's your thing, right?
It is, but it pisses them off.
Yep.
Fuck, it's Jerry again.
Yeah, but so
I know.
They should do it right.
They should, mate. It takes 2 seconds.
It's not the cheapest
to make a
food
phone
either.
call thank you. To make a phone call. Oh, fuck, let's call Jerry and find out if that's the right photo.
Yep.
Or if I'm working with a venue and they put a photo that's not mine of another oyster they've picked out of
random,
out of Google.
Yep.
Random, and it's not looking good.
No, that's not.
There's a couple of venues. I said, "Guys, it takes 2 seconds to call me. Just call me. I've got photos. I'll send them to you.
You're pretty approachable.
Don't put the wrong photos up."
Yep.
There's one restaurant, I can't name it because I get into trouble, but there's one restaurant that is putting the wrong species of oyster up on their
Is that right?
on their post now.
Yep.
Today, and I've written.
Have you?
Yeah, they know. They know. Oh, Jerry Darwin. We know. Marketing. It's the marketing team that should be doing this.
Yep.
I said, yeah, I know it is. But why don't they
teach them, educate them, call you?
Just 2 seconds. That's all it is.
It's not like you're not helpful at all, you know. And that's it. That's your world.
It's my world.
Yeah.
And the oyster world is my world. Yeah.
So besides oysters, what's the other go-to food?
Well, I love food.
Yep.
Okay.
All round.
I love
much you wouldn't eat.
Thai cuisine. I love dim sum. Yep. I'm off to dim sum on Saturday with 10 other guys. We all meet up.
Where's your go-to in Perth?
For dim sum, we all meet up at a place called Canton and Rose Street. Yep. Yeah, that's what we do. I love curries.
I like Canton.
Yeah. Or I go to Authentic Bites for dumplings.
Which one's that?
That's on Newcastle Street.
Yeah, Newcastle. Yeah, that one, yeah.
And Barn's right opposite. Diagonally opposite for curries. Yeah, so you got to go there. I like, since I've had... Okay, well, I'm diabetic, so I've been on
actually.
Ozempic for 5 years.
Yep.
So I've lost a lot of weight, and I've lost my appetite in a lot of things, and that's what it's supposed to do. So I used to be able to eat big steaks and T-bones and stuff.
Yep.
I can't do that. It's just too much food.
Yep.
But I like going to a place like Brown Street Grill, which is in Bright Tank Brewery, Stewie Laws's restaurant.
Yep.
I love the food there. I love the dips. I know people say, "What dips?" Oh, mate, you got to try the dips.
Yeah,
flatbread and dips.
Brown Street.
That makes my day. They know as soon as I walk in and I work there, once a month.
Yeah,
Chef Marco, he says, "Oh, I've got the dip ready for you. When you're ready, you tell me." I said, "I'm ready."
That's
so awesome. He brings it out. I take a photo, put it on Facebook. I love doing that. I don't like fried eggs. I love scrambled eggs. I love poached. Oh, mate, my favorite brekkie is a place called the Sarapan in South Perth. It's a Malaysian.
Wow.
Small. I'm usually the only white guy in there. They know me. Jerry, come on in.
Come in.
They eat oysters as well. I always drop off a little dozen to them.
Yep.
And I always go for the same thing. It's a big menu, but I always go for the same thing. It's always a roti with a bit of dal, curry sauce, and 2 poached eggs on top. Latte, coffee, $20. How good is that? Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, yeah.
So I do
try
that.
It out.
Now, I also go with my friends, we go up here in Subi, believe it or not, to the Red Chair for a laksa.
Where's the Red Chair? Which one's that?
It's up at Crossways Shopping Centre.
Yeah.
It's up the road.
Yep.
So we go go there and we have a laksa.
Yeah,
love laksa.
You're really good there.
Oh, mate, the best.
Are you a prawn or a what?
I usually go for seafood if we can.
Yep.
But I just enjoy. I like ramens as well.
Yep.
I like a good ramen.
Yep. My old boy loves cooking. That's probably where I like a lot of the food and that as well. But he just before I split with the wife, he come over and stayed with us and bought this big wok and everything. He made a prawn laksa, homemade, and he takes ages. It makes a mess. Wicked cook.
Well,
doesn't
matter.
But the food, he's a wicked cook. It's one thing my real dad taught me. Amazing. prawn laksa was fucking like,
isn't it the best?
So good.
Yeah, I know. And I love just catching up and doing it,
Yep.
When I go to see the boys here at the embassy,
yep.
They always know when I walk in,
yep.
I get the big fries, the big,
yep.
you saw me eating them the other day. So they're not French fries. They cut them,
Yep.
They're like logs.
Yep.
And that's what I love. I love that.
So good.
And Simon eats half of them anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm a coffee man. I love going out for my coffees every day if I can. And I just meet up.
Where do you go, coffee in Perth?
Well, I go to quite a few little coffee bars. I like Bassendean. I like the 5-4 store. That's where I'm going after I see you.
Yep.
I'm meeting an ex-chef there for a coffee, just to catch up.
Yep.
So the 5-4 store, one of my favorites in Basso. I like Bossman in Mount Lawley.
Yep.
In Highgate there. Awesome.
Yep.
I do like to go to little places like Humblebee in Mount Hawthorn.
Yep, Mount Hawthorn.
La Mortaza
I don't know that one.
In North Perth.
Yeah.
I go there. De Queiroz as well in North Perth, another one there. I'm just trying to think where else.
Tell me something. I thought of this earlier when you were talking about your son and coffee. Is there any crossover with oysters and coffee in any way?
I have done. I have done, believe it or not.
I thought of you and your son when you were talking about it earlier.
Okay, well,
and you know your coffee,
yes,
obviously.
I do. And Carl knows his coffee really well. I've done masterclasses. I did one masterclass where we did 6 different courses with oysters. And for the dessert, I did espresso foam, cold espresso foam on an oyster. All natural.
Is it good?
Yeah. Mind-blowing.
That's unreal.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah?
Couldn't believe it.
What made you do it? Have you seen it before? Or?
No, I hadn't seen it before. I'd seen a lot of granitas and stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone
actually,
does
I've had
granitas
that.
on oysters, whiskey granitas. I've done all that. And I thought, you know what? I love coffee. And everyone has a coffee at the end of the meal.
Yeah.
I said, why don't I put coffee foam, a nice coffee foam, strong, and put it on top of an oyster and see what happens? And everyone said, Jerry, this is different. And I said, yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah, it was good. So I love doing that. It's just one of those things.
Just as long as it's not cooked.
Yeah, I don't.
No cooking.
I don't cook. Everyone,
no fucking cooking oysters.
Take the piss. My good friend Don Hansey, who is the food ambassador for WA.
Yeah.
So we go on radio together.
Oh.
So we used to do 6PR.
Yep.
So he'd go on one week, I'd go on the week after. And in the old days, it's been about a year since we haven't done it, but he'd go on and talk about oysters Kilpatrick.
Yep.
And he says, oh, yeah, my good friend Jerry, he loves cooking oysters. And everyone would
the
call
following
me.
week.
They all call me up. Jerry, he's on it. He's doing it again. He's doing it again. And it was like last night as well. I had some a newcomer come and have oysters at Canteen. He owns a catering company in Mandurah. He knows. He's a friend of Don's as well. He said, Jerry, I hear a rumor that you don't like cooked oysters. I said, listen, there's 2 words. I don't like the K word and I don't like the F word. He said, what do you mean? I said, I don't like Kilpatrick and I don't like frozen. Don't you ever use those words in front of me. And there is a little reel going out actually on from the print hall where they film me saying, Jerry, what are your icks? And I say, icks? What the hell's an ick?
Yeah.
Your dislikes. And I said, oh, dislikes. Yeah. I said, number 1, cooked oysters.
Yep. F and K.
F and K. Don't do it. For me, you ruin the bacon, you ruin the oyster. That's how I see it.
Yep.
And I've had people come into parties with, I can't mention his name because he'll get upset with me, but he walked into a party when all these foodies were there and he knew I was Shucking. He brought a big piece of bacon in his mouth, like a tongue, hung it there, and a bottle of Worcestershire sauce. Jerry, I'm ready. Yeah. Famous food.
Poke the bear.
Poke the bear.
So I'll tell you something funny about that. And this happens a lot, I think, when I was a kid, I didn't like oysters.
Yeah.
They put you off and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But what got me into oysters is Kilpatrick when I was a teenager or 20 or I don't know what age I started liking them. Yeah. But I used to like Kilpatrick, but I love them natural now. And I actually like, how do you say it? Mignonette.
Mignonettes. Yeah, a little vinaigrette. Yeah.
And I had them first ever at Rockpool, and then me and the wife used to make them at home. My wife used to make them, and I reckon that's such a deluxe taste. But the Kilpatrick's actually what got me into it. But what put me off Kilpatrick is not because it's cooked, to your disgust, but is people don't do it well. They just throw bacon on and they just squeeze barbecue sauce or tomato.
Yeah.
There's no finesse or love. And like I love cooking
not anymore.
From hot coals to to everything, right?
And they carbonize.
There's no love.
No, they carbonize them. They put them in the ovens and
that's,
bake them
so
till
true.
They're black. And you can't be eating stuff.
Do you know my ex-father-in-law now, but we used to always cook in that, and then being Croatian as well, and seafood, fish. But he's pretty plain fella, but he obviously a lot of olive oil, but garlic, olive oil, and put them in the oven. Yeah. I know you don't like the cooking, but not the Kilpatrick. I didn't mind that either. But now I don't think I've had a cooked oyster for years.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when I arrived here, everyone ate cooked oysters. I've never even heard of Kilpatrick's until I arrived in Perth.
Hadn't you?
No, we don't do that in Europe.
Ah,
in Europe,
okay.
It was all Rockefeller and tempura.
Tempura, yeah.
So they did a lot of that.
That's common.
So when I arrived here, I didn't even know what a Rockefeller was until someone explained it to me. And I looked at them. I said, well, what do you do with them? And I said, we just throw them in the oven and cook them, or we put them on a barbecue. And I said, okay, it's an unusual thing to do.
Yep.
And then, when I started talking to people and shucking fresh, most people had not had fresh oysters before. And they cooked their oysters. Now, you learn a little trick that chefs will cook oysters if they're old. All right?
Yep.
So Monday morning, when there's no fresh shellfish coming in, what's on the menu that night?
Kilpatrick. Yeah, because you're
covering up. You're disguising the flavor.
Yep.
And it's
not saying it's off, but it's
they're not
fresh.
Off, but they're not fresh.
Yeah.
And that's what they used to do.
I always see oysters and lobster go hand in hand and scallops. Them three there for me.
Absolutely.
And I love seafood.
Absolutely.
You a lobster man?
Well, I like fresh crays.
Yep.
Yeah. I only like them steamed or grilled. And that's it. I don't put stuff on them.
Yep.
I keep going on about mussels as well.
I love mussels.
I love mussels, but why chili mussels? I know it's a famous dish.
It is. I love it too.
I know, but why? Why camouflage those mussels?
Very true, very true.
I get in trouble because Italians say, Jerry, it's very Italian, it's Frio.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, I know, but why? You got great mussels.
Do you know who does wicked ones? And I'd love to have him on one day. I don't know if he will. Is Mario at Spritz.
How
good's Mario?
Well, he's a legend.
He is a legend.
He's a legend. He's been around a long time.
He has.
Well.
Him and his business partner used to have a place in Netherlands.
They did in the old days.
I was told.
Yeah.
But I always go in there with my boy or the family, and he always says, "You got your caddies," and because he's Italian off the boat.
Yep.
Or his workers are definitely off the boat, and they're all legends. You walk in.
Yeah.
Now I always say you talk about hospitality, and young ones not having that enthusiasm and the hospitality that you should have. Take a leaf out of his book. He's unbelievable.
He's
the whole spritz.
He's the best.
The sing happy birthday.
Yes. And he comes up to you at the tables and does all the fancy stuff at the table.
You can't book.
No.
So line up.
Line up.
The 1%ers lives and breathes it. Like
he's the best in town.
They are unbelievable.
New venue apparently.
Oh, is there? You know more than me.
I can't say too much. Ask him across the road.
Oh, hasn't that gone through some people?
Yeah, he's bought it. So just don't
I'm going to have lunch there and talk to him.
We'll have lunch and say, hey, Mario, what are the rumors going on?
Jerry
told me you're going to cross the road. What's going on? I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
But that's a rumor.
It's like he's just constantly like, I think I'm a pretty motivated and energetic guy, and he's just like, I love it when I'm in there. Like only 3 weeks ago, I got a photo with my boy and him.
Yeah,
I'm like, get a photo with Mario. And
my mates
just because of the personality in there.
Not so much personality. I pop in once in a while when I can.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it there.
I reckon there's only a few really nice Italian places, like a bit like that. I know it's not fine dining there, right?
You don't need fine dining.
From the day I've been there, it's the same food, right? And I get bored of menus, but the quality and everything's the same, and it's authentic.
You know what you're going to get.
Every time. And you're watching the lads over at the pizza oven. They got to know the kids.
Banter.
Yeah, they got to know my kids.
Yes.
They're some of them a bit broken English. Like they're where they're from.
Yes.
And like that there is what makes me go back. And even if you did have a bad day.
Yeah. Right?
Because, every place does.
We do.
It doesn't matter. That's the difference, right? Because
he's very good. I love him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a great operator.
Yep.
That place is just buzzing all the time. You walk past.
I know he had a lot of challenges, I believe, at the beginning when he was getting the thing built out the front.
At the front,
yeah, because it got signed off. He had to get it redone. It cost him a bomb too, I think. But he lives and breathes that place. They do an amazing
Perth
job,
for you, isn't it?
And he just redone the gelato place. They just refurbed.
I know.
12 months ago, 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, he's a great operator. There's still a few good operators around.
There is. Who else comes to mind for the hospitality side for you?
A really good chef operator is Scotty Bridger, I think.
Where's he?
The Perla restaurant in Leighton Beach.
Okay.
He used to be at Bib and Tucker.
Yeah.
He's moved across the road now to Perla, which is a seafood restaurant.
Yep.
Voted number 2 in Australia.
Wow, I haven't been there.
Oh, check it out.
Yep.
I've worked a few events with him already. He's an unbelievable chef, but he's also a good mentor.
Yep.
Yeah, for the younger chefs. So he knows his
That's
stuff.
good to hear too.
And the menu is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's different. It's very different from your normal seafood.
Is it?
He cures and smokes a lot of meat.
Yeah?
Oh, go and just check it out.
I will, for sure. The
Perla.
Perla. Yep.
Perla & Co. it's called. And it's just right opposite the old Bib and Tucker where he used to work.
Yep.
Yeah. One of my favorites. God, there's so many little places I used to go and visit. I'm working at a lot of them anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
So for me, it's a privilege just to go in and say, "Hey guys, how we doing?" And they say, "Yep, we're here for you. Well, what do you need?"
Yep.
So I love all that.
And so just touch back on the Savoy, right?
Yeah.
Recommended. Now let's go to an opposite. I just want to answer that original question. The different environments and places that you could have been. We know in Australia here, we know in Perth that it's pretty, they want you to talk and personality and all that.
Absolutely.
And beautiful venues here, right? We're very lucky here in WA. I think we take for granted really what we've got.
We do.
It can have its ups and downs,
great
but
venues.
Our produce, like even Southwest and everything, like amazing what we've got here.
Stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even going north. Do you go north much? Do you go near that?
I've been to Broome a couple of times and shucked up there for the races and stuff like that. I've been to Exmouth. I love Exmouth, but I went with Fiona. They've asked me to go back up.
Have they? It's
to come and shuck up there.
How good? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Froth Brewery's up there. He wants.
Are they? I didn't know that.
He wants me to go and do a little event.
I want to go up there soon because you can, like this time, what we were talking about earlier, this time of year now.
Well, now it's beautiful.
And swim with the whales and all that stuff. Now's a beautiful time.
Well, we swam with the turtles last time we were up
there,
which is great, I didn't expect it, but all of a sudden, boom, wow.
Yep.
I do a lot of work down south, so from...
How often do you go down there?
I try and get down twice a year if I can.
Yep.
Because I'm busy up here, I can't really get... So the Taste of the Great Southern is a 5-day thing.
Yeah. So
it takes a day to get there, day to get back, and 4-day festival.
What do you got to take with you? Anything?
Well, I just take all my oyster gear, and that's about it. Sauces. They supply everything down there for you. Well, they have to, really, because, you can't do your lemons and all that. So all the mignonettes. I might take mignonette with me. And we just do... Well, Tom and I go down together. So Tom will do 5 or 6 events, and I'll do 5 or 6 events, and we do some together as a Tom and Jerry show.
How good's that?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So how is that? Is there a little bit of filming there and stuff like that?
There is filming, yeah.
How long's that been going?
Absolutely. Well, this was the first year we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've only just done it. But we're on board to do Tom and Jerry show again at the Servo later in the year.
Yep.
So we're doing, I think, 120 people at the Servo. Yep. Both of us in there as a Tom and Jerry show. Tom's very proactive as well. He his business is busy as well. It's called Shucks and Nibs.
Yep.
So he's out there doing it every day. We're looking at, getting some, funny stuff for the show,
Something just on that, something I want to do with you, and a question I wanted to ask, but what I'm going to do is, if it makes sense, do it as a reel. Yes. How many, and it'll be a question before I give the answer, how many oysters have you shucked by yourself in one event setting night?
300 dozen.
300 dozen by yourself?
By myself.
How, over what time?
Probably about 8 hours.
8 hours?
8 to 10 hours.
Where was that?
It was a couple of festivals.
Yep.
So I did, a long time ago now, it was called something, the Purple Moon or the Blue Moon Festival or something like that here in Perth. And Billy Thorpe was at that festival.
Wow.
And I fed him. And there was Brian Ferry and all that crowd.
Yep.
It was at the showgrounds. So that day I shucked 300 dozen.
Wow.
It's a big day for me.
All right. So I'm just going to ask the question. You don't need to answer it now. So I've just asked Jerry how many oysters he shucked in one event sitting, and it was over 8 hours, a couple of events, and we will put the answer up and see what everyone have a guess.
Yeah,
so I'm going to have that into a reel and see how.
Yes, many. Absolutely. Good stuff.
So off the back of that, actually, I'm a bit curious.
Yes.
Like, do you get, people get carpal tunnel?
Yeah.
Like, what happened? What in your world? What's the challenges you've had?
The worst thing I've had is I've had a knife go into my finger.
Yep.
So
injuries of Jerry.
Yeah, injuries. That's the number one, which was about 25 years ago.
Yep.
So a knife went in through his shell. I got 2 stitches, RPH straight away, stitched it up, went back to the restaurant, which was actually the fish house. Went back there, put a chainmail glove
Vic
on.
Park Hotel or something. Did you say Vic Park Hotel? The fish
No,
house?
that was the fish house. Yeah, the old Vic Hotel.
Yeah, Vic Hotel.
Here in Subi. So I was chucking it.
I remember you telling me earlier. Yeah.
And then straight down, it was about 8 o'clock in the evening. Then the knife went in. I was back at 10, finishing off the event. Probably the worst injury I've had is I actually blew the tendon in my elbow. So just in here, shucking too many oysters.
Is it just that actually gets used a lot, does it?
Yeah, I just blew it.
Yeah.
And I was shucking that, and that was also at the fish house. So I was doing a lot of work there.
Bit of a curse there at the fish house.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of work. And I had a doctor sitting right opposite me when it all happened. And she looked at me and said, "You've done some damage, haven't you?" I said, "I think so." She said, "You better go get it checked tomorrow." So
Does
I did.
It annoy you now? Does it come back?
No. Those injuries don't come back.
No. Oh, good.
What you've got to be careful with a knife, obviously, because it does puncture. Not so much cuts, but punctures. But the thing that does cut is if a shell splinters. So it shatters.
Yep.
And the shell is sharper than a knife.
Yep.
And it'll slice you up pretty quick.
Yep.
Now, I get nicks all the time.
I was going to say, you must get them a bit.
I get little nicks here and there. But being diabetic, you have to be careful because you do bleed a bit.
I'm type 2. I understand that.
So you know.
Yep.
So I'm type 2 as well. So you just got to be careful. I don't use gloves or cloths, but I tell everyone else when I teach them to either get a glove. Now the new mining gloves are pretty good for shucking because they're pretty hardy.
Yep.
The chainmail gloves, you can't really get them anymore, I don't think. I still have mine.
The chain ones?
Yeah, it's like a butcher? It's like a boning butcher's knife.
I was a butcher when I was 15.
Yeah.
Or worked in it and used to use one.
Yes, well, that's
I relate to it. Yeah.
They're very good.
Yep.
And obviously, cloths now, I teach them how to use a cloth now. There's a certain way of folding it. You make a pouch out of it and you put the oyster in the pouch. Hand over the top. It's in my master classes. It's in the video.
Do you have any branding and stuff on all these? So you putting your name on?
Yeah, my knives all have my name on them. So I've got key rings coming out now with
the Oyster King or Jerry.
I've got one actually here. Actually, let me just see if it's the merchandise hasn't arrived yet. It's on its way.
Awesome.
So I'm just telling you, be ready. So that's a key ring with. So those are coming out. Yeah. Okay, so fridge magnets are coming out. So you can put one on your fridge.
Where can we purchase them?
Well, we will do on my website.
Yep,
so
nice.
I've got 2 sauces coming out very soon.
Ooh.
So one's called Fraser's Fire, which is smoked chili, and the other's called Fraser's Gold, which is mango chili ginger.
And that's just to pour on, no
that's
cooking?
Just a tiny bit on. You don't need
cooking.
Much. No cooking, yeah. I've been using the sauces for quite a while now.
Yep.
The guy who owns the company said, Jerry, you need to put your face on it.
How good.
So I have a manager now who takes care of all that sort of stuff, and he said, Jerry, we're gonna fine tune.
So you're really getting your personal brand out there more.
Well, he wants to leave the legacy properly.
Yep.
He just says, it's time. Everyone knows who you are. Let's just get things happening.
That's why I could tell the moment I mentioned this, like 3 months ago or whatever, like you were like, yep, let's do it.
Yeah.
I could tell you were on that. And, obviously you've been a bit older generation, but you really open-minded and adapt and evolve to what's going on because you can't fight it, right? And it's going to benefit you. You've got a wicked personal brand. Everyone knows you,
Well, they want to do baseball caps now.
Do they?
They want to do T-shirts,
What about the apron?
Well, I've got my own apron that I designed, which you see me wearing.
Yeah.
I designed that with a friend of mine who was a skirt maker. God, I think 20 odd years ago.
Yep.
And he'd see me wearing the normal butcher's sort of style bibbed aprons. And he said, pretty boring. I said, yeah, I know. That's what we all wear.
Yep.
And he said,
what's the most common item mum and dad will buy at a retail? Like, because not everyone's going to buy an apron, but
I think what we're looking at soon will be tea towels.
Yep. That's actually what made me think of it. It actually made me think of it when you were talking about folding it.
I'm talking to Tom.
Yep.
From Chucks and Nips. Tom and Jerry tea towels. Maybe that will be the way to go.
Cool.
I know Tommy wants to get a tie.
Yep.
Tom and Jerry on it. So we're looking at that as well. We have to look at the, obviously, implications with, Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry,
Yeah. So if we can do something, maybe the Tommy and Jerry or the Jerry and Tom show, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're looking at that at the moment, but we don't ties.
Just don't also put a mouse and a cat on there.
Well, that's what we have to be careful what we're going to put. Maybe we could put the mouse with my head on it and the cat with his head on it. Maybe something different. Yeah.
Oh, you'd have to be pretty unlucky to.
I think you'd have to.
Yeah, like
a friend of mine got done for sauces.
Yeah.
Yeah, here in Perth. Yeah, he'd copied another, not the same sauce, but same style.
Wow.
And he got called up. They're a big company.
When they got deep pockets, it ends up.
He says, no, he had to change it.
Yeah.
Just had to change the label.
Not even worth the energy or stress when they got big pockets.
So he did. He's selling the sauce, but now he's changed the label. But that's another story.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Andy wants to do now, with your visors in cars, in the summertime, where you put on the window screens. He wants to put my face on it.
That's really cool idea.
Well, it's a cool idea because
I haven't thought of that.
The car sits there for 3-4 hours.
Yep.
Who do you
can hear in WA as well? Everyone needs them. Like WA's weather. Yep.
I saw a car yesterday with the logos on there from their business, and I thought, that looks pretty cool.
Yep,
definitely. So I don't know whether you want to see Jerry Fraser's face on there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's having fun.
Yep.
Enjoying it. The sauces. I've already got a couple of ladies want to buy 12 bottles each. They know it's coming.
You just probably a couple of last things before I go to the last bit of usually wrapping it up. But like you obviously got a beautiful community, hospitality, and all that. So that all you oyster shuckers, you all get along.
Yeah, we all know each other.
Yeah, and you all know each other.
We all know each other. Perth is quite small. There's not a lot of shuckers on the East Coast.
Isn't there?
No, there isn't. I've got one mate who's Dwayne, who's over in Queensland.
Yep.
So he does Airlie Beach and all that. He does quite a bit of, but he's in the mining business.
Yep.
But he runs a
That's what he does
company.
on the side, yeah.
In Melbourne, I've got 2 or 3. There's a couple of venues that do oysters, which are very well known.
Chefs do it a lot, though, if they have to, don't they? Is that right or
That's
not?
what's happening.
Yeah.
Chefs will do most of the shucking in most venues in Australia.
Yep.
But they don't come out. So they're not live shucking, if you know what I mean.
And that's the experience, right?
Well, I think that's the magic, It's the magic. I tell people it's not so much about the oyster, it's about the experience.
People love it. A table there and oysters getting shucked.
They want to chat.
It's fresh chat.
Yep. Well, you want to ask them their story, their life stories, their oyster stories. Where did you have your first oyster?
Yep.
Where was your best oyster? They'll always ask me.
What's the one you have in the morning? What shot do you have with an oyster in it?
Well, it's Bloody Mary oyster shooters. That's the English breakfast.
What's your thoughts on
Guinness?
this?
Well, I don't do them, but I've done them. Don't worry.
Probably done plenty.
I've done plenty of those. Guinness and oysters, Irish breakfast.
Is that right?
Yeah. And they do bourbon and oysters. That's the American breakfast. Things like that. Yeah, you can play around with it.
Yeah, yeah. Are you going to just say the next 5 years? What do we see? Obviously, I think I've touched on a lot, merchandise and all that.
Yeah.
I think the timing of that question was impeccable. What I do picture is what's wicked, and I don't know if you do this. You obviously take photos everywhere you've been, right?
Try to. Yeah.
Try to.
Yeah.
But like, what'd be cool and is like you go into these farms like the SA Premium and all that you mentioned, you've got all these relationships.
Yeah.
Like imagine you actually having a little bit of a story or a video with them, like, even if it was only 30 minutes. Like you've got some wicked
That's going to go on the
Yep.
website. Your website.
Cool.
Yeah. We're going to go and do a bit of traveling
Jerry's Journey.
Yeah. And go hit
Travel.
Tassie again because we love Tassie.
Yep.
SA, Fiona loves South Australia, and we stay at the farmer's house.
Yep.
And we have a lot of fun with the
And not many people can do that. That's why that's a wicked story.
It's a different story.
Yep.
And it's not only because we love oysters, but we love them, And they're humble people.
Yep.
And most farmers are.
Yeah. And they won't get out and be on content and share. Like I wouldn't know about them unless, talking to you.
Yeah, well,
you've got that, you're that gateway, right?
I'm a pretty much of the conduit to that.
Yeah.
Because everyone says, "Oh, we're going to Tassie." I've had 3 phone calls in the last week. Jerry, I'm going to Tassie. Where do I go? And I just give them all the directions. I say, go see them. If you're going to go to St. Helens, I need to know so I can tell Craig you're popping in. So he knows you're coming.
Yep.
And he when we talk, he says, "Oh, your mates came over from Perth. I saw them. South Australia, the same. Smoky Bay." Colleen will say, "Oh, your mates were over. They take photos and send them to me."
Yep.
They're up there on there eating oysters up on that viewing.
Thanks, Jerry, for telling us.
Viewing platform.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you Google SA or it's called The Oyster Experience.
Yep.
SA Premium Oysters. I think that's the best tour in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, awesome.
That's huge.
Let's tag that as well when we put
just have a look at it.
It's a really,
have a look
really
at
good
it.
topic here. What would you call it? The platform or the view?
Yeah, it's called the viewing. It's called the viewing platform.
Yep. The Oyster Experience.
3K out in the water. Over the top of the farm beds.
Unreal.
Yeah?
Yep.
And they take you out the tinny and you walk up, you climb up, and you shuck your oysters up on top.
Unreal.
And you sit there and watch the sunset come in. You won't beat it. Other experiences are great. They do them in Tassie. They do them in Coffin Bay.
Yep.
You go out in waders and you sit on a table. It's out in the water.
Yeah. Yep.
And shuck oysters there and eat them there. That's nice.
Still not, but that tops it.
That tops it. The one in SA Premium tops it. Yeah, Smoky Bay. I love their oysters.
Fun fact about an oyster we haven't talked about.
Well,
something that we don't know.
Most people don't know it's the highest concentration of protein of any animal in the world.
Yep.
They're filter feeders. So, hello, vegetarians and vegans can eat them.
Yep.
And I've switched a lot of people over.
Yep.
Oh, Jerry, we can't eat them. I'm a vegan. I said, yeah, I know you are.
Yep.
Well, what's the story? That's number 1. Number 2 is don't swallow whole. Chew, chew, chew.
Chew twice.
You got to chew them.
Yep.
If you swallow whole, you don't get the flavor profile of an oyster. Believe me. I mean, if I gave you a prawn or a piece of meat or a scallop, what do? You chew it.
You chew it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yep.
So I get the flavors happening, guys.
People are off that. Usually when you're younger and you try one, it's the texture. Until you get older and you get used to it.
It's an acquired taste.
It is.
It is an acquired taste.
But then when you love them,
when you get the bug, you'll understand.
Yep.
And the thing is, you'll have to understand something as well. When you have oysters with me or one of the other shuckers, they're fresh. So they're where we call that shucked to order, not freshly shucked, because every menu in town says freshly shucked. You don't know how old they are.
But shucked to order.
Shucked to order means you order, I open.
Yep.
So you know it's happening at that moment.
Yep.
And that's the best. You can't beat it.
And I experienced that this morning, probably the freshest I've had.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Good.
Anything else you want to talk about before I ask you the last two things?
No, I'm all good. Just
it was
keep
amazing.
On shucking.
So something, keep on shucking. Something I've been locking in now is in 6 months, and I'll probably send you a meeting invite. I've done it yesterday with Chris.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's just a recap.
Absolutely.
And what I've learned on podcasts, and I'm new to this, I'm learning, but is a lot of people get on it's transactional and they're off. Like, and I just love these stories, and there's so many topics, and there's probably other stuff we could talk about.
So much.
But like in about 6 months, because it's got to be a bit of time, and I'll take a couple of points out of this, and probably a shorter version maybe, I'm not sure.
Absolutely.
But we're booking it in now so it happens.
Book it in.
And even if we have to shift at the time, but at least my team will send it out.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And the other two things I ask is, who's one or two people I could get on that just resonates with you from
to have chats with,
to get on here and do the same thing?
Hospos.
I don't care. This is the point. It's not my world; it's your world, and that's where the compound network happens.
There's so many hospos out there that I'd love you to have a chat with. Even like Scotty Bridger.
Yep.
Because I think he's a great mentor, great chef, chef owner.
Yep.
Which is a different ball game when you're a chef owner.
I love people outside my circles in as well. That's awesome.
Unbelievable.
Everyone's got a journey.
When Fiona's back down, maybe you should have a chat with Fee.
Yeah, definitely. I actually thought that earlier when we're talking
about childhood educator, doing it
you
up
might
there.
Hear some other stuff about Jerry.
Well, she might have one or two little stories about me. But she'll tell you them.
Definitely.
She'll probably be down here in October.
Yep.
So we could probably maybe think about that.
Let's pencil something.
Yeah, pencil something in. I'll have a chat. Well, she'll probably hear this anyway. But she'll be keen. There'll be a few others there.
What was the first guy? Scott, was it?
Scott Bridger.
Scott Bridger. Yep. I don't know. Yeah.
Difficult man to get a hold of.
Yep. But I know a guy that knows him, so we might be able to.
Yeah, you just go down and have a little taste of his food first and just say, see how he operates. He's a beautiful man.
Yep.
But there's other chefs that are unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy I work with quite closely, Greg Harding, who I've worked with in many venues.
Yep.
He runs venues.
I was about to say, what's he do?
He's up at 2J right now at the Vic Hotel.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah. So he's running that. I'll do an event with him for the Avon Descent.
Oh, awesome.
Which will be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'll probably need some time to think on that.
That's all right. That's enough.
I'll just text you a few names because there's different players around Perth. I don't mean players, I mean people I know who are in the hospo game.
Do you reckon Simon will come on one day?
Simon would be a good one to have on.
Yep.
He's been on a few. I know that. Simon's a very interesting character.
He is. I know a bit about
bigger than Ben-Hur, that one.
I know him and Teresa's story a fair bit. It was pretty funny. A couple of nights they've told me. But like there's a whole piece there, right? He loves it. He bought on Rockaby Road.
Absolutely.
Loves the community and the local, obviously well known cigars. Never knew he had the external businesses. So
he's connected with a lot of other things.
Well, he connects a lot of other people.
Absolutely. And he's on the board of many things.
Yeah.
You know?
So the reason I do this is because I got a list of 200 people, right? And I'm pretty confident I can get them because people skills.
Yeah.
But what's better, it's like a compound network. It's like I ask you, and if you ask someone, the chances are they'll be more engaged. And off the back of you being on, say a few weeks we launch
it works quite well.
It's like, because my network helped me build my business coming from mining and being in the mechanic world and that, right? Helped me build the insurance business the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But I think the podcast and relationships going to give me more value than ever. And I mean that. I don't mean everyone asks me where I'm going to make money. And I'm like, it's not about that. I love supporting mental health and I love connecting people. And I'm like, if I do that, money will come later if it's meant to.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
And the next, to end it with this question, and this is what I love at the end, is what'd you get out of today?
Well, I reflected back on many things I haven't spoken about for a long time, which was my growing up days.
And I really appreciate you sharing that.
I enjoy sharing about my youth because not many people know most people here in WA or even Australia just know me as the Oyster Man, the Shucker.
Yep.
They don't know my background. They don't know where I'm from.
Yep.
I have an accent that doesn't really sort of put me in anywhere.
Yeah.
They go, you've
been that many bloody places.
Are you Canadian? Are you American? Are you a Kiwi? Or what are you? So I'm actually a Scot by birth, and I'm very proud of it.
Just an oyster sugar.
Yeah, but I just say, I've traveled.
Yeah.
I said I'm cosmopolitan. I just traveled everywhere.
Yep.
And I'm fluent in Spanish, which blows people away because I speak Spanish to a lot of Spanish-speaking people in hospo. And it confuses them.
If you were a younger female and you spoke Spanish to me, that's
You'd like that. Yeah. So when I go to the embassy, there's a couple of Spanish speakers there, and we speak in Spanish.
That's cool.
Everyone looks at us and says, "What are you doing, Jerry? How come?" I said, "Well, I grew up in
many talents.
Grew up in Peru, you see.
Yep.
And I love speaking the language, and I think speaking Spanish to the Spanish-speaking community here in Perth, it's good for them. That this guy, this guy's he's a Scot. Well, is he American? Where is he?
Yeah,
but he speaks our language.
But you're a local here. Doesn't matter where you're from.
And I understand how they feel sometimes.
Yep.
I get a buzz out of that as well. I really do. And as long as there's good coffee around, I love it, mate. Plenty of other coffee bars I haven't mentioned, but there's plenty out there to look for.
Well, maybe we do a recap on that.
Well, we can go and have a little coffee somewhere along the strip.
And you know what I wouldn't mind doing maybe next time, and I'm going to try and do this a bit different. I want to do a podcast in Bali with someone. I want to go down to, there's a finance guy, Luke, I'm going to get him on, but I'm actually going to go southwest and do it.
Yeah.
So because there's not much gear, right? Like signs, portable, still do it. But maybe next time we can do it where you're doing a bit of shucking. We're doing a little event or something on the recap.
Yeah.
Just get people together. That's what me and you love.
That's what it's about.
And if I can learn anything off you with the whole people skills, I love that stuff. Back to it's something I learned about you today, actually, and I come up and shook your hand because everyone's a bit different.
Yeah.
But to end it, let's have a hug.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Can the old boy get up first? Shake it off.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Mate, it's so good. That's what it's all about.
It is, mate.
It's all about.
It was so good.
Good.
So thanks very much. And Jerry's on.
Do it again. Well, we're going to do it on a few times. Yeah.
I reckon and it might be all the guests I've had on.
Let's
and
do
we
it.
get it. Do you know what I mean?
Let's do it.
Maybe it's a journey. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Or the end of the year, we maybe
there's a journey for the journey.
Yeah. And then maybe there's, a couple of people and they know.
I'd
bring
like
them in.
I'd like to do
That'd
that.
be cool.
Yeah. Get Simon in. Even get Charlie. Charlie doesn't get out much, so I'd like to get Charlie out.
Yep. Maybe I'll hit, obviously I can hit Simon up for a
space. I would.
We'll do it at his,
mate.
He can block a bit off. We can do we'll get more cameras.
Let's do it.
And drag maybe the couple in that I wouldn't have on by then.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, come check it out. And we can all have a little
oyster.
Different way to tell the stories instead of sitting around drinking piss as we did when we were young telling stories. We do it on
I think it'd be
Shucking
great.
now.
I think it'd be great.
That's cool. That's all. I'm actually about to do I'm piecing together a defense one because all us boys tell stories all night.
Yep.
And I'm like, and they've been following this now and they hang a bit of shit on me and I'm like, I put a group chat together with 5 founding Navy guys I live with when I come here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, can we do a podcast? If I record and you don't like it, I know they will be okay with it because they don't know what they don't know. But I'm like, guys, we tell so many stories and it's a challenge getting out. And I got out because I partied too much.
Yeah.
And there's all these different ones and we're all different people now. And I actually reckon I'll end up into a mini series because there's so many stories. And then I'm going to have a few guests come in, a little bit 3-4 hour podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. So same thing. Community.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
And your hospo world, I reckon, be cool.
Well, there's a lot out there in the hospo world.
Yeah.
And they don't get to tell their stories.
Yep. We don't take that moment.
Well, we have to.
Yeah, and we do.
It's only a moment.
And my life coach last year put me in tears. Actually, one thing, and this is what this does, is just give yourself a little bit of self-compassion.
Yeah.
Don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself some self-compassion of where you've been, what you've been through, and appreciate where you are today.
We've all been through it.
Everyone's got stuff. Good, bad, ugly.
We've got stuff. Stuff.
Thanks, Jerry.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you.
It was so good.
No, had a lot of fun.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Good. I'm really happy with that, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
awesome.
Until the next one. I'll see you probably tomorrow night.
No, I got my kids.
Okay.
What time are you in?
4:00.
Yeah, no.
I'm there about 2:30, as you know. Yeah. Always early.
Actually, when I walk out of here on the way to get the kids, I might sneak in and say good day to you.
Just say hello. Just say hello.
I do that at 2:30 because then I go get the kids.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool.
And speak to your wife. No.
No. Well, I see her on Sunday, so it's all good.
Cool.
Thank you. All right, my friend.